Hello, Danger Noodles. I'm here with a bunch of weird people. Jesus,
We're
weird people.
your weird people.
I was gonna say something else, but I had to sneeze. Anyways, the first SCP of the night is SCP-387 Living Legos. So, yeah. When you're ready, Hatchet.
Uh, Item number SCP 387 387
You get
Anyway,
what?
object class safe. Special containment procedures. Due to the nature of this object and the almost non-existent harm it poses, it is stationed in a storage container in Site 19 with a standard lock. The red tub in which SCP-387 is contained does not possess any unusual properties itself, as has been determined through testing. But 387 will not duplicate itself unless at least a layer of it covers the bottom of the aforementioned container. A sheet is available for those wishing to utilize 387, and access will be revoked if it is not properly restored. Description: SCP-387 is a tub of commercially available Lego, normal in design. Irregular shapes not featured in normal sets such as circular wheels and prisms are also available. It has no brand name, and every company interviewed by undercover agents thus far have denied ever making irregular Lego. When the tub is not full, i.e., when it is partially or almost fully emptied, the Lego will slowly duplicate themselves, stopping when the container is full. The interesting property of 387 is that when constructed by a human hand, see Addendum 387-D, the constructions will animate themselves, performing activities based on their surroundings. For example, if a Lego man, which is a man constructed using the provided humanoid parts, is placed within a car, it will begin to drive it. Further experimentation has revealed that the car, and indeed any complex machine, needs no internal engine or power source. The Lego people have some form of sentience as they interact with each other quite readily. The Lego people. If left over time, the constructed people and buildings will evolve. They will take on occupations based on the buildings around them, e.g., some people will become firemen, use fire trucks if the corresponding objects are there. They will use They will also use 387 to construct more things to expand their society. Humans can interact with them quite peacefully, but if a human becomes hostile to them, they will immediately cease all activity and become inanimate. 387 was found in oh excuse me found on in February of 2000 redacted by Agent H redacted during a long train ride back to the city he lived in. Agent H redacted idly constructed a man from 387, which was in the seat beside him at the time. Several seconds later, it became animated. Agent H redacted quickly disassembled the man and delivered the item to Site 19 for analysis, where it now remains. The security tapes from the train were confiscated and destroyed before they could be reviewed. Op- Optional information. 387 should not be given to children under the age of 10, especially if the aforementioned children are influenced by cartoons and television shows. See Experiment 387 B. Experiment 387 A. A small community of 387 is formed in a testing chamber. A plane constructed from normal Lego was placed to the side of the community.
Come back. Oh,
Over.
hold on, Hatchet. Thank you, Rappin' Jocks, for rating so many times. Thanks, Robin. We're dealing with the content farms again.
Hey, Robin.
Hear us talk about this wonderful classic SCP before covering a content farm that totally misinterprets information and does goodness knows what else.
Yeah.
I'm kind
Because
of.
they care about money, not truth.
As a side note, I'm kind of scared to see how they actually show the Legos.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they just have to show them as Legos, but
No,
will they?
no, instead of drawing Legos, they draw Mega Blots.
Don't say that. Don't say that. That's not funny.
Right, gave me an eye twitch. Okay. A plane constructed for normal Lego was placed to the side of the community. Over the next 3 hours, the following changes were observed. Several Lego men procured some equipment from 387 heading over towards the plane. With incredible efficiency, the Lego men constructed what was, for all intents and purposes, a working airport. The specific pieces having been supplied by 387 without visible signal. A petrol tank zoomed over to said plane, apparently filled it with fuel despite earlier observations that vehicles constructed from 387 do not require fuel. And the plane proceeded to literally take off, flying around the room at low speeds and altitudes, seemingly to avoid crashing. More planes of different make and design were formed soon after. Addendum 387-1. Judging by this, I'd say the constructions of 387 have some form of understanding of the surrounding environment, and they're able to convert existing Lego to 387. Dr. Arch. Nice, Robin. Uh, um, Experiment 387-B. Several young children were given 387 and were given instructions to use their imagination. The children, who had their memories of this experiment removed, began constructing various objects. After having noticed that they were animate, they excitedly conferred and began building several objects that they intended to use in battling each other. These included a transformer, an M1 Abrams tank, and several expunged. The children were instantly removed, at which point the creations began to fire and eventually destroy each other. Though not after considerable.
That's just like children.
Oh, I love that so much. That's such a vibe. We have animated Lego blocks. Our first objective, make them kill each other.
Make a dystopian society.
Well, just remember, they're children and don't really fully understand.
Children love battle things. The best S ever. Okay. Addendum
Oh,
38-7-2.
I'll be right back. I'm being called for something. I'll be back.
Okay, should I stop
Okay.
reading?
Yeah, I'll be back.
So how's your day been?
Started about an hour and a half ago, but pretty good.
Uh,
I scroll through Twitter. No, I will not get off Twitter. Happy May Day, everybody.
hmm?
It is May Day / Labor Day.
That's true. That actually sounds nice, Robin.
Nice. That's fair, Robin. I'm just scrolling Twitter.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. I had to move my car. But anyways, I'm back.
Okay, so oh no. Addendum 387-2. How the fuck did these children gain knowledge of the workings of an N1 Abrams tank, no less, expunged? I'm not responsible for cleaning up the mess these things make. If anyone is stupid enough to let children go at SCP-387, I am not recommending an upgrade to Euclid, as the constructions did not fire whilst in the presence of humans. This has been tested with adults and proven just as correct. Dr. Arch. Experiment 387-C. The red tub that contains SCP-387 is emptied of Lego. Commercially available Lego is then placed in the tub for a minute. Constructed objects are inanimate and remain so. SCP-387 replaced. 387 replaced. It is noted that the Lego placed within the tub also did not duplicate itself. Experiment 387-C-2. A single block of SCP-687. What the fuck? 387 is placed within the red tub. It does not replicate. More of SCP-387 is added until the bottom layer is covered, at which point it began to replicate itself quite rapidly until it had been filled. The amount of SCP-387 removed from the tub continued to work. Similarly, when an amount of 387 higher than the tub's capacity was placed upon the tub, it shrank until the red tub was fully filled. Addendum 387-3. It appears that the red tub itself has no abilities by itself, but SCP-387 will not duplicate itself unless in that particular tub. Perhaps this is a copyright mechanism that stops copies of 387 being made. Further experimentation needed. Dr. Oak. Okay. Experiment 387-D. A robotic arm was used to construct a car out of 387. It did not animate. This test was repeated with a human hand, at which point the car animated as usual. A dead hand. Wait, what the? Okay. I wasn't expecting it to go here.
It's the SCP Foundation. Why are you surprised?
Look, I was having fun with animate Legos, okay?
That's true. This is a very wholesome SCP.
A dead hand from a recently dismembered agent was used to no response. The hand was then heated, which still provoked no response.
I just imagine that you just put the hand in a microwave.
They just toss this agent's severed hand into a microwave. Heat it for a couple seconds, flip it over like it's a burrito, heat it for another couple of seconds, take it out, and try playing with the Lego again as if it's going to work. Okay. Okay, Addendum 387-4. It appears that 387 responds to a pulse or some other detection of human life. Dr. Art. Addendum 387-5. This SCP has been in high demand for extended use, as further testing has revealed no more anomalies and features. In the personnel tested, SCP-387 has improved morale and attitude by 87%. People are really kids at heart here. As such, I am recommending that all personnel be given free access for recreational use. Dr. Art. Request approved. Experiment 387-E. Once a normal community of 387 was constructed, a small mound of mega blocks, a common company of Lego, was placed near the community. When this happened, everything constructed of 387 stopped moving, turned slowly towards the mega blocks, and data expunged. Addendum 6. Jesus fucking Christ. What did the Legos do to the Mega Blocks?
Well, they data expunged it.
Yeah, alright. I mean, it's just, license. Oh, look, it's made by
They're
Dr.
like-
Ark.
They were like, not one of us. Not one of us.
It just turns slowly to the Mega Blocks. Why?
Alright, time to say the thumbnail.
Oh, I can't wait
Oh.
for this to be ruined.
Okay, it is not as bad as I thought. It's honestly pretty tame.
Holy fucking shit. Do we have... I think we
Oh,
actually
that
have
looks.
a
That looks
zero.
Yeah,
I agree.
this is just
It looks like a
Legos.
0.
This is the single most tame thumbnail we've seen from any of these fucking channels.
Hell, we've done living Legos before in the content farm, and I think it got a 4 as a clickbait thumbnail.
Do you think?
Like,
Do you think they actually did this right? Will it come out 100%?
that we can... Like, I'm trying to think. Like, let me bring it in. Like, I would still be willing to say, like, 0 if they, like, made a rendition of the battle box and the M1 Abrams tank fighting each other. Because that's like, it's a touch more clickbaity, but it's still wholly relevant to the
Yeah.
SCP. So, like, my initial thought was maybe they'd go with that, but no, it's just a couple bozos staring at the camera.
Yeah, with Legos in the background.
Yeah, like this is actually almost a disappointingly tame. I was hoping for something better.
So we got our first 0.
Have we ever had 0 on the clickbait thumbnail part?
I think we had
I'll
one
be
or
honest,
two.
no.
I think we had 1 or 2.
No, we haven't.
Oh, we have? Okay, so this
We've
is
had
probably...
ones, not zeros.
Wait, so this is the first clickbait thumbnail?
Like this thumbnail just it just
Before this
there's nothing
one,
clickbait about it.
it ranged from slightly clickbaity to it couldn't be more clickbaity. This is just Lego. This is 387.
This is just a couple Lego bozos staring at the camera.
Alright.
Although one of them does look poised to murder the other.
That's also 387. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they don't look especially monstrous. They just look like 387.
Yeah,
I
they're
forgot I
just
still
little
have
Lego
that picture of that fish that's being held
Yeah.
by the hand. I forgot the name of the fish that one Hatchet sent me.
Which one?
It looks small,
Well, why don't
brown, with a bunch of white dots, and it has this very small fin on the top. It's a
Well,
cute
why
little
don't we go
face.
to the content farm?
Oh, brown.
Do they
Yeah,
have? Did they? Do they have the SCP license?
Alright, hold on, I gotta look at something real quick.
Are you okay?
That's called a hiccup.
Uh,
It doesn't sound like a hiccup. It
this one,
sounds like a
Hatchet.
sound of distress.
It was a hiccup. That's how my hiccups sound.
Oh, that's the angular rough shark.
Yeah, I don't know why I still have
I don't know how you couldn't like remember that it's a shark. Do you know what sharks look like? Because that's
No,
a
she
shark.
doesn't. No, she doesn't.
Let's see. They did 387,
Nice.
but unlike the other one where they put the author, they did not. They just says it's licensed under Creative Commons license.
Is the
Then we can't give them full points.
Yeah, the
yeah, I
author
was
is
gonna
right
say,
here.
is it's like the standard procedure to also include the author along with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically with licensing, you're supposed to include put this right here. They do it for you. You just put this on the video.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to copy and paste that. They did not.
Okay. That's fair enough. I was trying to think if we could give them a touch of leeway there, but
No.
nah.
No.
Okay, so
They need 1 point knocked off for that.
yeah, so I guess they're not gonna get a perfect score, but
Yeah.
They
Also,
might get
this.
a 90.
Yeah, this has a
Perhaps.
2.6 a million views, not a billion, million views. 2.6 million.
This has 1 billion views.
I hope this gets a high rating. I hope it's a well-made video. I hope for once they made a video that isn't a content farm hell mash.
All right. Yep.
Or at the
Everyone
very-
ready?
I was gonna say, like, at the very least, a well-made video for these
Yeah.
channels.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so we ready?
Yeah, sure.
3, 2, 1.
The children entered the room. On the table, a red container full of what appeared to be Legos rested there. The children walked up to the container and, naturally, kids being kids, began to play with the Legos. The children were unaware that in an adjoining room, separated by a one-sided mirror, a team of 20 scientists analyzed
20 scientists?
You don't need 20 What the hell, bro?
Just okay. If I was aware that a bunch of kids were gonna start playing toys with 20 men looking at them, or 20 adults, I should say, looking at them, I would not have been there.
Like,
Just
my only thought is why 20 scientists? It takes like 1 or 2 guys scribbling down notes to keep like
I feel
experiment logs.
like the max amount of people should probably be 5. Because there
yeah.
needs to at least be one person that can run over that can tell the kids to stop and get the
Yeah.
kids to
Yeah.
actually listen.
Yeah, like it's just an absurd number of people.
You
But-
need at least one child herder.
Also,
Yeah.
I want to go back a bit. Hold on.
their
No, not full screen. Damn it.
Why not full screen, damn it?
Why can't? Okay, there it goes. Who has the super bright Legos?
That's technically less a random bright pink and more of actually, yeah, that's a fuchsia. That's not magenta.
It hurts my eyes. Why would they draw a Lego with
They
that
have-
color?
So let's see. The blocks are colored normal yellow, lime green, normal green. No, that's not a normal green. That's a grass green. And then there's a normal green. There is mint. There is that looks like blush specifically. There's fuchsia. There's magenta. There's red. There's cool gray.
I'm just
There's
wondering.
there's blue.
Yeah, I'm just
And
wondering.
there's white.
Has anyone seen a Lego colored this bright?
I would imagine that, like, in some obscure set, there's some colored like that.
Wait, there's an off greenish grayish block that was like copied.
Yeah.
I'm
The other
so-
thing I was also gonna mention, like, having watched a good handful of like
Uh-huh.
videos from people that like are very into the Lego hobby, I can
Yeah.
confidently say that there'd be a good number of people who would kill to have this variety of colors.
Yeah. I've just never seen Legos that fucking bright. It just threw me off
No, it's
guard.
fair. For the most part, they don't come that bright because that would take more money in dyeing them.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Cyan and orange and brown.
Yeah.
And I should probably figure out what color that grayish greenish color is.
I like how
I don't
Drew's
feel
the
like it.
color expert here.
Ironically
And-
enough, the grayish greenish look is kind of similar to like aged Lego pit, like older gray Lego pieces.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
some
I
pieces
can see
turn
that.
like a greenish color when it gets older.
Yeah, because I think it has to do with the dyes that were
Oh,
used back then.
Derna
Yeah.
confirmed it. Derna confirmed I actually have Legos that bright in color.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, like it
violet.
tracks.
It also has violet. I didn't name that before. And that grayish, purplish color that I do not know the name of. There's also there's also a grayish brownish color. And there's a darker shade of lime.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Alright. Anyways, let's continue.
Why do they have so many color variations?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. It feels like an abnormal amount of attention to detail for these folks.
Maybe this is why it's 2.6 million because they put all
Oh,
their
there's
hard
also
work
a
into this
one
one video.
Also, there's exactly one brick red Lego, which is more of a brown color, but it's called brick red. But I don't know why, and I don't really care.
Uh,
Oh yeah,
Then-
they're in the center.
yeah. Also, Aderna
And-
says. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you go.
Aderna says they're from like Lego boxes for kids with just an assortment of Legos, but they do exist. Okay, that makes sense for this because that basically is what 3.7 is like a little tub of sorted
like
Legos.
The earliest iteration of the Lego brand was largely just, hey kids, take this massive assortment of blocks and do whatever the fuck you want with them.
Yeah.
It was like, I think around the late 90s when they start like really heavily getting into
Mhm.
like pre-built sets
Yeah.
with instructions and all that.
Before then, Legos was aimed for kids of all genders and ages.
Derna.
Yeah. I think they still are. They just like they just make sets that are marketed to different demographics now.
Yeah. Also,
I would like to comment.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, you go ahead, Jerry. Mine's off topic.
if I got a set like that with specifically one brick red Lego and one like neon purple blue whatever the hell Lego,
Okay, Derna.
which there's exactly one of each and they're on top of each other, I would be driven mad as a child.
I think I would too. Yeah, I would be very pissed.
Yeah.
It's
I would,
like this brick red makes me want more brick reds to make a house, but there's one. There's one.
Yeah, also, I was gonna say, I remember when I was younger, pre-made Lego sets, I had a pre-made Star Wars set. I think it was like a Star Wars ship. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like $35. If I were trying to get that today, it's $100.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard price for back then. And
Anyway.
yeah, like any older set that's been discontinued, their price is gonna fucking go sky high.
Also, Aderna, there is no other brick red. There are red bricks, but that they are not brick red. Brick red is a brownish reddish color that is not red, and they call it brick red, and I don't know why. So yeah, there are multiple red bricks, but there's only one brick that is brick red.
Yeah, anyways, let's continue the video and stop talking
Anyway,
about
I
Legos.
think we've spent at least 5 minutes analyzing this pile of miscellaneous poorly
And the
drawn
more I
Legos.
look at it, the more upset I get. Let's keep going.
But hey, at least now we can definitely say we're definitely doing fair use.
They try to copyright strike this, and then we take it to court, and we just play this fucking 5-minute section of us just rambling about Lego pieces.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this isn't transformative at all.
I feel like this is a weird 5-minute neurodivergent rant about Lego blocks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the main reason I'm upset with Legos now, because I used to play Legos and watch Avatar Last Airbender. I did it at the same time.
Hmm,
Okay.
that's a vibe.
Yeah. Anyways.
play with the Legos. The children were unaware that in an adjoining room, separated by a one-sided mirror, a
I
team
just
of 20
realized something that
scientists and
disturbs me.
What?
Well,
You slightly rewind it to when it's showing the two kids playing. The way one child is positioned, it's like his head is just a hat.
oh
They
yeah,
did
I
not
saw
give him room to have an actual head.
that.
Yeah, see?
Hold on. It's still loading. Oh yeah, it is. Wait, that's the point. That's Ash Ketchum's hat.
Well, I
Oh,
guess Ash Ketchum lost his head.
uh,
Ketchum
Wait,
all.
we know what happened to Ash Ketchum after he was kicked from being the cartoon protagonist. He went here.
No. Let's go. Let's keep going.
that in an adjoining room, separated by a one-sided mirror, a team of 20 scientists analyzed their every movement as they played innocently with the Legos. The children started to pick up building blocks, piecing them together and making makeshift houses. One of the 3 total children picked up a humanoid figure and started to cry out in shock. That's when the children realized that these Lego pieces were animated. The Lego man in the child's hand waved at them, and when the child placed the figure back on the table, it began to walk around as if it were alive. The children clapped their hands and squealed with delight and continued to play with the living Lego. On the other side of the glass mirror, the scientists scrawled down on their notepads frantically. SCP-387 is currently stationed in a standard storage container in Site-19. Due to SCP-387 posing no
They
danger
were
to
having
humans,
the
it
children
has
be way more friendly than the report.
Oh yeah. Wait, was it stated
Yeah.
at Site 19 or a different site? I can't remember.
It's Site 19.
Okay. Wait, then
It
that
is
means
Site 19.
387 is the same site as the Plague Doctor 035 and 682.
Well,
Yeah.
Site 19 can't just have very deadly SCPs. It also has to have fun things.
I
Like
think
living Legos.
the main reason why it ended up there is just because that's the site that the agent that stumbled across them was
Yeah.
headed to, and now it's kind of just staying there because, I mean, inexplicably, the SCP agents that are stationed at Site 19 might have more psychological troubles than others. So it's kind of good to have therapy, Lego.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Abel's also at Site 19.
Fun.
I think.
There, Robin.
has been stored in a container with no special make. SCP-387 is a tub of commercially available Legos, seemingly ordinary to the naked eye. There are, however, a few irregular shapes in the box of Legos, including
Oh, what the
What?
what the fuck?
What?
Why why is the amalgamation of the Legos a giant bucket of snot?
I don't know, but also, what is this? Was this to say that these objects were CP?
They're trying to say those are irregularly shaped Lego blocks, which is nonsense.
Yeah, no.
I mean, okay, so on the right, that could be a wedge.
Yeah, I can see that.
Purple donut. I got some questions. Random hexagonal prism.
Technically, that's a fuchsia donut, not a pink donut.
Oh wait,
Okay, fuchsia donut.
wait. That fuchsia donut is from the Simpsons playset.
The what playset?
The Simpsons.
It's a
Oh.
donut, maybe. That could be the idea, but I have no idea where they could have gotten the fucking hexagonal prism from.
Right.
That
But
looks like just a normal building block that they tossed in there.
I'm gonna say so far, they haven't taken too far away from the article, except for adding like the fucking 20 scientists watching the kids.
Yeah. Like thus far, it's tame.
Right.
It's very tame compared
So
to
far,
previous
it's
shit.
still on point. It's not sexist. It's not racist. It's on
The only
topic.
thing,
It didn't change the SCP.
the worst thing about it is depicting just the most nonsensical, non-existent Lego pieces.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Circular wheels and prisms. It has no brand name, and all companies that were interviewed by undercover agents denied ever making SCP-387. Of course, after these interviews, the individuals' memories of SCP-387 were removed. An interesting feature of SCP-387 is that when the tub is not full, or when it is partially empty, the Lego blocks will duplicate themselves until the box is full. When all pieces were removed from the tub but one, it did not duplicate. However, when Lego blocks were returned until an even layer was made, SCP-387 continued to duplicate. If an excess amount of Lego blocks are placed on top of the tub to prevent from closing the lid, SCP-387 will shrink to make room. When other objects were placed in the tub, for example diamonds, it did not duplicate. When other Lego pieces from commercial brands were placed in the tub, they did not duplicate. It
Did it mention any point about diamonds?
I don't think they mentioned like putting stuff other than Legos in to see if they would duplicate.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
why
but
would you think a diamond would duplicate?
I don't know. Like, I feel like that's a fairly reasonable line of experimentation. Like, this box seems to have Legos that duplicate. Can it duplicate other things, or is it just the Legos? And
Yeah.
if it's just the Legos, is it just its Legos or all Legos that are put into it?
Mm-hmm.
it
So, like,
duplicates all Legos, just not off-brand. It needs to be
yeah.
on-brand.
Yeah.
So, like, ironically enough, this feels like they just accidentally added, not accidentally, but they just kind of added in an extra little bit of experimentation that wasn't in the article that feels completely fine.
Yeah, also, I forgot to turn on the toggle for the content farms now. I just realized. I put on the knife toggle.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Well, whatever.
yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna read what Robin says before I start it. Robin says there's no other scientists watching anyone else, but there's 20 whole scientists who need to do that exact thing. Nowhere else do they need to be except for watching those kids for some particular reason. All of them are needed for that particular reason for some reason. Like 682 breaks out. There's no scientist. Like, where the fuck is everyone at? And he sees them just watching a bunch of kids.
I'm starting to think this might end up with a 95.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad so far. Maybe they got their shit together for this one video.
Seems the tub is not what possesses duplicating properties, but SCP-387 must be in the tub in order to duplicate. SCP-387 will not duplicate in other random containers or spaces. Researchers guess this may be a ploy by the makers to avoid copyright of SCP-387. It is also interesting to see that when constructed by a human hand, SCP-387 will animate themselves. For example, a Lego man
That was a very botched way of saying that they think that it could be a copyright mechanism
Yeah.
doing it, but like, I mean, they still tried to get across the same information even if they slightly botched the wording.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking amazing that when watching these, them botching the wording of something to making it significantly harder to understand is way better than the standard.
Yeah, also, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
sorry.
above average.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say we don't even have anything on the bingo board yet.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm also happy. This is like I'm genuinely surprised. I thought that this was going to be another fucking patchwork bear effect.
Yeah, or they somehow sexualize the Legos.
And then suddenly, as the animate Legos were building their society, they
Didn't
spontaneously made.
Didn't
They-
Dr. Lucius actually sexualize the Legos?
Yes.
And then, as the Legos were building their society, suddenly there was a gay strip club.
Oh my god. Wait, no, it was a
With
Professor
It would have
Lucius.
been more like, and with Professor Lucius, it would have been more like, and as the Legos were building, some were women with boobs.
No, it wasn't Professor Lucius. It was SB Chronicles. I remember they were one who did that SCP.
Oh, Chronicles.
Yeah, Chronicles did that.
Sorry, it's just I guess I typically talk up sexualization to Lucius.
It's fine.
Suddenly, as the Legos were being Legos, some of them had breasts, breasticles, boobaliciouses, boobalubas,
Anyways,
big old honking fucking tits.
alright, let's continue.
Was placed inside a
Anyway.
car. The Lego man proceeded to drive the car around, moving like a real person. The car toy was disassembled, and it is noted that it did not possess any complex machinery inside it. The cars also don't require fuel or any
Wait, how would you
That
fuel
fucking
your
sucks.
car? It's so close together.
Maybe it's like a side view? I don't know.
They drew it badly. Have
They drew
mercy.
badly. Yeah.
power source to
All
move.
things considered, that's a pretty decent little Lego car, though.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, are they gonna sexualize the Legos?
The
Let's
Lego
hope
people
not.
also have a form of sentience. They interact readily with each other, and when SCP-387 is left out on its own,
just kind
the
of
Okay.
constructed buildings and people are quick to
I
evolve.
mean, they made police.
Lego men.
They made police.
No! The Legos were supposed to be a Lego Society doesn't need fucking coppers.
Will take on
Also,
police
who the
uniforms
fuck
and
is
roles.
Bozo?
What was that?
Never mind. He's a cop now. A cab includes this bozo.
When they find themselves alongside police cars. Lego people will use their own building blocks to construct skyscrapers and update infrastructure. They will expand
Oh
their
my
society
God.
through these means. SCP-387 does not seem to mind the presence of human
Automod
interaction,
again.
but if a human turns hostile, SCP-387 will instantly lose sentience and become inanimate. An experiment was conducted in which a plane constructed from normal Lego pieces was placed in a chamber with SCP-387. After a few minutes, the Lego people of SCP-387 moved and began to build an airport using pieces of SCP-387. A petrol tank drove over to the plane, seemed to fill it with fuel, even though it had been noted that vehicles of SCP-387
Just tapping it into
They
the
just-
wing.
As we all know, the way that you fuel a jet engine is awkwardly bump the tube to the underside of the wing.
No one ever said they knew how planes worked. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
True.
do not require fuel, and the plane proceeded to take off and fly through the air, zooming around the room. More planes were formed afterwards, each of
Man,
different
the
make
guy
and design.
watching him is just has this look like, oh god damn, I need coffee.
He's very tired. But also, what the fuck happened there? There's like a weird ass graphical glitch where everything got inverted and there was an audio stutter.
Where? Right here?
Yeah, go back a little more.
Oh god.
Yeah. What the? Oh! Oh!
It kind of looks like one of those things where you look through the scope and see weird shapes.
Yeah, like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
What the? How?
Sorry,
What?
that scared me so much. I think I woke Spoot up. I'm sorry.
That is just bizarre. What the hell happened here?
I don't know.
Like, go back a little more and then press play. Like, this is a split second where. Oh my.
Ah!
Yeah,
Oh
like, okay, so
God.
go forward. Oh, what the?
Oh!
It's just like spontaneously they start mirror, 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 mi-
Oh my God, this looks like it's
mirror.
coming out of his mouth if you think about it.
Yeah. What the fuck? I I don't think this actually goes against anything on the bing
It
on
doesn't.
like not the bingo or like the mirroring. Yes, thank you, Adurna. Like I don't think this goes on anything, but it's just fucking weird. How did this happen?
I don't know. Anyways.
More planes were formed afterwards, each of different make and design. This all took place within 3 hours. SCP-387 thus seems able to interact and evolve with normal LEGO pieces. Judging by this, I'd say that constructions of SCP-387 have some form of understanding of the surrounding environment, and they are able to convert existing LEGO to 387, says head scientist Dr. Arch. SCP-387
Holy
was
fucking
first found in
shit!
February.
They actually read off something that included the fucking doctor
Yeah.
in the article.
Yeah, but they said Dr. Arch instead of Ark.
Well, it'd be spelled the same. It's just a
Yeah.
mispronunciation. Either
Yeah,
way,
that's still
like
better.
how I how how is this the single best video I've seen while watching these videos with you guys?
I don't know.
They have consistency issues.
It might be the reason why this is their most viewed video they made.
Yeah, what the it's actually baffling that it's this like it's still mediocre. I would never watch this on my downtime
Yeah.
because like it's very very
I think the
bland and the
screenshot at
animations.
the side is a good example as to
But
what you mean.
Yeah.
yeah, but like it's just like I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just actually baffled that it's this decent. This is a decent video.
And we're pretty much
Where the
halfway.
fuck did they get this?
We're halfway through the video.
And we haven't even gotten to the best part where the kids start making weapons of war.
February of
I think
2004
the best
by
part is when they meet the when they meet the gosh, my brain has died slightly. The Mega Block.
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that is definitely the best part. Let's see if they actually do that.
Right. Let's just talk about the train part.
an agent of the SCP Foundation. The agent was returning home on a long train ride. He reported going to his seat, which was empty. He went to the bathroom and returned to find SCP-387 resting in the seat next to him.
This is a little
The
bit
lid
of
was open and
extra info, but
A little extra info, adding some stuff here and there, but
yeah.
it's so like it's still largely on point.
Yeah.
he reached in and constructed a Lego man.
I think it's entirely fair, like, if you're trying to make a video with something like this, for you to like embellish a bit of extra little details to add information. Like, even if it's not the most accurate, I think it's like a pretty fair way to go about it.
Oh yeah. Anyways.
As soon as he completed the construction, miraculously the Lego man moved and walked around. The agent immediately disassembled the Lego man and brought SCP-3.
Wait, he just tore off the legs and then
Yeah.
just threw it in the box.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I didn't think about it when reading the article, but it does feel extra, like, just a little morbid seeing the guy, like, he creates this little man and he starts to move, and then he's like, oh god, rips him apart.
Yeah.
I assume that this is what you would expect from if you gave a toddler the powers of a god.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
387 straight to the SCP Foundation site. Security tapes from the train were quickly destroyed to avoid public knowledge. Dr. Arch advises that SCP-387 should not be given to children under the age of 10, especially if the aforementioned children are influenced by cartoons and television shows. This is due to an experiment conducted in March of 2015.
Wasn't the date actually said?
I don't
No.
think the date was said.
No
They're adding
date was
dates.
ever
No.
Man, I really want coffee.
In which two kids, ages 5 and 8, were placed into the room with
Oh, it's these guys.
SCP-387. The children were given instructions to let their imaginations run wild, and the children proceeded to play with SCP-387. Once the kids realized the objects were animate, they were immediately excited and agreed to create warriors to fight in battles.
Oh,
These
no.
included a Transformers character as well as an M1 Abrams tank.
Bumblebee.
Once these objects were constructed, the kids were immediately removed from the room. At this point, the Transformer and M1 Abrams tank attacked each other, destroying each other in the process. It has been noted that these objects will not.
Were you happy?
Little fucking shits.
Are you
I would have
happy?
hoped for a bit more action, but at the same time, it's one of these videos, so I can't expect
Yeah.
too much. This was perfectly serviceable.
Fire or attack when in the presence of humans. It appears SCP-387's relation to humans is positive. In another experiment, a robot arm was used to construct a car. The car did not animate. When a human hand constructed the car, it moved around. When the dead hand of a deceased agent was used to construct a car, it did not animate. When the dead hand was heated up and used to construct a car, the car still did not animate.
No, just look at the hand. The hand looks so...
It was roasted.
Yeah, they just roasted the
yeah,
hand.
okay.
Also, I feel a bit off by how he says car.
Car?
He says car. That's how he says.
Ah,
The hand is decayed enough to where you can't really tell what skin color they had, but now it has skin color, and the skin color is roasted.
Yeah.
the skin color is barbecue.
Oh no!
When we deep fried a human hand and used it to construct a car, it did not animate. When we dipped the hand in chocolate and used it to construct a car, it still did not animate. Strange. Maybe we should stop touching weird dead hands and it will animate. I don't know, crazy.
In my will, I'm just gonna put make my skin barbecue colored.
What the hell does that mean?
No.
I feel like it would be a fucking disaster zone being whoever has to arbitrate your will. Because like it's going to be nothing but absurd nonsense that can barely be parsed.
Like all the seats have to be on the ceiling of the church.
Place seats on ceiling of chapel when buried. Do not bury. Make me into a CD of Rickroll. Oh, wait. Also, turn me into barbecue.
Would CDs even exist by then?
I mean, like,
Oh my-
CDs will still exist.
Endurance is so bright. What's her skin like trunks? No.
Maybe by the time Bright dies, CDs will be as relevant as tape players are now.
Yeah, but I dare say there's a good chance that they'll still be around and like people who enjoy retro stuff, because by then they will be retro in the same way that we've had like a massive boom in
Mhm.
vinyl
That's fair.
usage.
Yeah. Anyways.
Dr. Arch has concluded that SCP-387 seems to respond only to a pulse or some sign of human life. He also recommended that staff be allowed to play with SCP-387, as it has been reported that once an individual has played with SCP-387, morale and attitude have boosted by 87%. Staff members were thus allowed free time to interact with SCP-387, but of course with supervision. However, this permission was revoked after Incident 34AB2.
Oh,
Two staff members
okay, now we're adding bullshit.
Yeah, now
Now we're adding
bullshit.
bullshit.
'Cause that was
Damn it,
not,
this was going so well. Don't add bullshit.
yeah, it wasn't revoked.
It was never revoked. Oh wait, maybe this is gonna be the Mega Blocks thing.
Oh yeah.
And
Also,
they're just
Let's
adding
find
the
out.
idea that it was revoked after the Mega Blocks thing.
wait, I just see Robin's message. When we deep fried a human hand and used it to construct the car, it did not
I
animate.
literally just read that right.
I didn't know it was Robin's message. I thought you made
I
it up on your
see.
own.
I thought I could have sworn I said Robin says.
Well, I was not listening.
Anyway,
Anyways.
Oh yeah,
Enter the
right.
room
What
for-
was the? I meant to ask. What was the $300 goal too?
Hold on. I have.
I think you said that you changed the 250 to be the chat chooses what type of bird you want.
Fuck. I have to find the fucking charity. Oh, there it is. Charity string goals. All right.
I know I
oh,
donated
2.0.
$5 towards Stripe being a bird.
Oh, it's my 2.0 model sneak peek. Like the new models I'll have in that style. And I absolutely love the style. It fits me perfectly. So yeah, the 2.0 model sneak peek.
Rush me.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, we get to choose what type of bird you want.
Yes, you do.
Yay. Anyway,
Yeah. Alright.
for their period with SCP-387. Unknown
Yep.
to head scientist, one of the staff members had brought in her Mega Blocks, a common copy of Lego. The two staff members
Oh.
proceeded to build a small community with SCP-387, and they left the room, leaving the Mega Block figures with SCP-387. Security camera footage shows what occurred after all humans left the room. Slowly, together as one,
Yes,
the
I
figures
have,
of
Adorno.
SCP-387 turned to the Mega Block characters, and then they attacked. SCP-387
Whoa, wait, they just went the opposite direction. They made 387 a victim.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because in the
Well,
article
no, this
it's...
is these. No, those are the 387 figures
Are
that
they?
are attacked.
'Cause I think
Yes,
I thought this...
They just said that.
I'll go back for a second.
Together as one, the figures of SCP-387 turned to the
Oh.
Mega Block characters,
They
and
were.
then they attacked.
I
SCP-387
thought those were the
Lego
Mega
people
Blocks.
charged at the Mega Block characters,
Never
wielding
mind.
swords and spears like an army of soldiers. Enhancement of security footage shows that a leader of sorts was commanding the army to attack the Mega Block pieces. Within a few minutes, the Mega Block pieces were reduced to debris, and SCP-387 continued as usual. The Mega Block characters did not defend themselves, of course, since they were inanimate. But that did not stop SCP-387. Once the Mega Block characters were defeated, SCP-387's community collected the debris and tossed it over the side of the table to fall to the floor. When the two staff members returned from work to play with SCP-387 and the Mega Block characters once again, they were surprised to find their Mega Block pieces were missing. SCP-387 did not behave differently after the incident, acting as if nothing had happened. If it weren't for the security camera footage, scientists would be unaware of the unusual ordeal that took place regarding the Mega Block pieces. As to the reason behind SCP-387's unorthodox behavior, Dr. Arch predicts that it may have something to do with SCP-387 being jealous of the Mega Block pieces.
What?
That's
No.
not something that Arch said.
No. They just said Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, there's Jesus fucking Christ. And redacted the information. We don't actually know what the Legos did to the Mega Blocks.
So yeah, now they're just adding shit at the end, but still it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little bit of a downgrade from deviates from the plot, but
It's probably gonna get like a 90, but that's still better.
yeah.
It is clear that SCP-387 possesses a good relationship with humans, and thus they may become jealous of any other LEGO-like character that could pose a threat to their good
No.
relationship with humans.
No.
Nonetheless, free time with SCP-387 has been limited to personnel, and only a select few with hard supervision are allowed to interact with SCP-387.
Also no.
SCP-387's strange duplication capabilities have also caused a number of theories to be developed amongst staff members. Many theories that SCP-387 actually steals these extra pieces of LEGO from other LEGO sets across the globe, and
What?
that is why children always seem to be
No.
losing LEGO pieces in their sets. Some believe that these LEGO pieces have been pulled.
That would be pretty funny if that was true.
That would actually they just casually added an incredibly funny element to the SCP that I wish was actually a part of it.
Yeah,
That
that would be
scientists just start to speculate, hey, maybe what if all these pieces that are showing up are actually being stolen, and that's why everyone seems to always have a missing piece in their Lego sets.
funny. Yeah. And now we're gonna get to alternate worlds. Anyways.
from alternate
Transdimensional
universes,
Legos.
while others suggest SCP-387 is capable of altering the air and transforming mere nitrogen into carbon.
What?
These theories,
Who the
however,
fuck
are
is
not
this
soundproof,
guy?
and
Where do you
No
get
shit,
such
they're not
information?
soundproof. You just who the fuck is this bozo that you bring in? It's like they're turning the air into Legos. I don't like them putting chemicals in the air that's turning the. I don't know. I don't like putting chemicals in the air that's turning the air into Legos.
Yeah.
their lack of evidence indicates that these theories should only be taken lightly. Thanks for watching. Did you enjoy learning?
Oh, God, the
you
AI
just
art.
thought them up in a second.
Alright, so yeah. So anyways, I can get rid
that-
of these
I'm-
two now. Alright, so yeah, Removal Character / license, they only had partial license and they kept all the characters.
Yeah, so I'd say 1.
I agree, 1.
Added gore or violence.
0.
0.
Yeah.
They add 0 gore. Unless you count them slightly barbecuing the hands.
Well, yeah, but the thing did that too.
Yeah.
DB's,
Well, I mean, like,
oh,
barbecuing is in, like, I'm
Yeah,
making a
but-
joke to the, like,
Yeah.
it looking like they've got a honey glazed hand.
yeah.
It did look that way.
Anyways, DB's from the plot of the article.
1.
1. Like,
Yeah.
it was all there. They just added little bits of extra information.
Yeah. Only,
Some of it needed, some of it
yeah.
not needed.
Only men in video / offensiveness. 0.
Did
0.
we? I was gonna say, did we see us? Oh wait, one of the
Yeah,
one of
20
the
doctors.
that brought in. Yeah, one of the doctors that brought in the Mega Blocks was a woman.
Yeah, also at the beginning, one of the 20 doctors was a woman.
Oh yeah, like one of the more easily visible.
This is the first time we've gotten one this high.
It's actually disconcerting that that they jumped in quality this much. I'm
Right.
scared for what's gonna happen in the next one.
Anyways, I'll read the next one, which is the coffee machine.
The game
Oh.
that has a erotic dating visual novel about it.
Oh yeah, Jared, not sure if you know that. That's actually a thing.
I was there for a portion of the time you were playing that.
I've never played it.
Oh, the erotic one. I thought it was like to put anything in it. Didn't you play that one?
No, I've never played any of the vending machine games.
Did I watch someone play it and
Yeah, you
not
probably
realize-
you confused me with someone else.
Oh,
I'm not offended. I think that's funny.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. I'm not offended. Anyways, item SCP-294, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. There are no standard special containment procedures on file for item SCP-294. However, only personnel of security clearance level 2 or higher are allowed to interact with it. See document SCP-294-A. 294 is currently being stored in the second floor personnel break room and is monitored by 2 guards of security clearance level 3 at all times. Wait, so they just have 2 security guards standing next to it at all times? I find that funny. Just, like, you go to type in, oh, like, hey Bob, hi Jim. Anyways. Description. Item 294 appears to be a standard coffee vending machine. The only noticeable difference between it being an entry touchpad with buttons corresponding to an English QWERTY keyboard. Upon disposing 50 cents US currency into the slot or the coin slot, the user is prompted to enter the name of any liquid using the touchpad. Upon doing so, a standard 12-ounce paper drinking cup is placed and the liquid indicated is poured. 97 initial test runs were performed, including requests for water, coffee, beer, and soda, non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not usually exist in liquid state, such as nitrogen, iron, and glass. And each one returned a success. Test runs with solid materials such as diamond have failed. However, it appears that 294 can only deliver substances that can exist in liquid state. It is of note that after approximately 50 uses, the machine would not respond to further requests after a period of approximately 90 minutes. The machine seemed to have restocked itself. It is also interesting to note that many caustic liquids that would have eaten through a normal paper cup seem to have no effect on the cups dispensed by the machine. Testing is ongoing as suggested. 294 was moved to the second floor personnel break room as a money-saving venture. Following incident 294-01, guards were stationed at the item and a security clearance became necessary to interact with it. Oh no. SCP-294 Document SCP-294-A regarding Incident 294-01. On August 21st, 2005, Agent Joseph Redacted attempted to use Item 294 to obtain coffee during his allocated break time at 9:30 a.m. At the request of Agent Redacted, to see what it would do, Redacted requests a cup of Joe from the item. Moments after confirming the selection, Agent Joseph Redacted began to sweat profusely and complain of dizziness before collapsing. After moving the unconscious agent to the infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup dispensed by Item 294. A combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of biological material dispensed by 294 matched that of Agent Redacted. Agent Redacted made a complete recovery after 4 weeks of rest and intravenous hydration. X-rays and CAT scans showed no further signs of injury, and Redacted was released. Both agents were reprimanded. Additional security measures for 294 have been recommended. Addendum S294-F. After reviewing documentation on 294, Redacted suggested testing 294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance. Addendum 294-H, with the overseeing of O5 data expunged, a cup of SCP-075 secretion was used as input. Okay, what's 075 again? Oh, it's the corrosive snail. Oh, it's that fucker.
Yeah.
Do not
Yes,
drink.
Yeah.
He did get a cup of Joe.
Yeah. The product was proven to be the requested liquid, and the cup was able to successfully contain the material. However, the report for Incident 075-07 was acknowledged 2 hours after the test. See Addendum SPO-75M, a containment procedure breach had occurred exactly at the same time this test was taking place, waking O-75 to its active stage. It was able to secrete an amount of basic solution equal to the capacity of a coffee cup. Before emergency containment procedure was applied, it was rendered passive. The liquid was not found in a post-incident investigation. Addendum 294I, research punched in a request for a cup of gold. Machine dispensed a cup of molten gold. Researcher requested similar precious materials with the same result. Addendum 294J, researcher punched in from a safe range request for a cup of anti-water. Machine hung briefly and displayed out of range on entry pad. Its theory is that 294 has a limited range of collection. It cannot reach into alternate universes/dimensions. Addendum 294K, researcher punched in request for diamond. 294 briefly hummed, then displayed out of range on entry pad. 294 gives this result for all solid substances, as diamond is a solid crystalline form of carbon. It appears the machine cannot dispense liquid carbon, as this does not result in a diamond. When a cup of carbon was secretly punched in, the machine dispensed a cup of liquid carbon. 294 was immune to the damaging effects of the dispensed liquid. Addendum 294M, testing for a range of 294's capacity for retrieval has been initiated. A unique compound has been formulated composed of undisclosed ratios of redacted, bland bleach, redacted brand cola, Meds-RX powder, and garam masala. The fluid was created and displaced in a sealed container 25 meters away from 294. When requested, the fluid was dispensed. An equal amount of mixture was no longer present in its original container. Addendum 294L-01, researcher redacted under observation of level 4 personnel. Keyed in a request of the best drink I've ever had. 294 dispensed a fluid similar in appearance to cola. The researcher identified it as a mixed drink he recalls having at a bar during his bachelor party, and he was convinced it was the best drink. Redacted did not know what ingredients were in the drink besides rum and cola. Further tests are scheduled to ascertain how 294 gathers information. Addendum 2940-01A, under the same conditions, Agent Redacted, the best drink I've ever had. 294 delivered a dark fluid topped with white foam, which was later identified as Vienna Lager. The cup was printed with a color picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on a beach. Redacted was one of them. In his briefing, Agent Redacted confirmed that his favorite drink ever was a Vienna Lager he consumed at the beach with his friends. It has now been confirmed that 294 has the ability to directly gather information on someone's mind in order to comply with the given conditions. Addendum 294Q-01, subject key to perfect drink. The machine dispensed a cup containing an odorous lavender liquid. After drinking the liquid, subject appeared to go into shock. Subject later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I'm sorry, but at this point everything's just one big letdown. Requesting such a drink again is highly discouraged. None of the components of the drink have yet been identified." Jesus, what was in that drink?
It was ambrosia.
Yeah. Addendum 294T-01, subject keyed in something Cassie will like. The device was heard to hum for about 3 seconds before dispensing an empty cup. Printed on the side of the cup was an image of traditional soda fountain glass, filled with something brown and topped with whipped cream. Upon introduction to 085, it was identified by her as a chocolate banana milkshake and judged delicious. I think 085 is the drawing of Cassie. I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Very sad, SCP.
Mm.
Yeah, Addendum 294W, researcher keyed in requests for a cup of music. 294 produced a clear sparkling fluid and tasted vaguely alcoholic. Following ingestion, subject reported feeling and not hearing a continuous rhythm and demonstrated the ability to move, even dance with a certain fluidity that he had not previously shown. Testing on other abstract concepts is continuing. Addendum 294AB. During a mass security breach, Agent Redacted requests a cup of pertinent medical knowledge while taking shelter inside the second floor break room. Of the 4 agents in the room, Agent Redacted was the only one who was not injured. 294 poured a cup of clear green liquid. Following the ingestion of this substance, Agent Redacted began mending the other agents' wounds in a manner consistent with Foundation medical training. Agent Redacted no longer has the medical training that the liquid provided, and other attempts to recreate the event have failed. Agent has speculated that this event was an emergency measure taken by the object to ensure self-preservation. And Addendum 294 AC. Dr. Redacted requested My Life Story from 294. 294 made humming noises and shook violently for approximately 3 minutes before providing a highly viscous, opaque black liquid. Upon consumption, Dr. Redacted reported that he remembered everything that had ever happened to him. Following this test, Dr. Redacted entered his office and returned 48 hours later with a 538-page autobiography.
Damn.
Addendum 294 AD, researcher produced a request consisting solely of the phrase "surprise me." Device produced an opaque cup containing normal water, later determined to have been heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. Upon receiving vibration from transport, the contents of the cup turned into steam, violently spraying boiling water in a 2-meter radius. Jesus!
My God.
Well,
Let
it's
me-
definitely
let
a
me,
surprise.
Let me 200 Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yeah, so that's 392 degrees Fahrenheit.
He got... What's that worst degree burn? I forgot.
3rd degree.
Yeah, he probably got 3rd-degree burn.
Okay, so note to self, don't ask this thing to give you a surprise.
Oh my gosh, I just see the next one. Addendum 294 AF, researcher produced request for Blood of Christ. 294 vibrated and produced the message Hic est enim calyx sanguinis me. Then produced a paper drinking cup containing approximately 0.12 liters of red grape wine.
1 moment, translating. Translating. That Google Translate says that is Latin for this is the cup of my blood.
Oh my god. Next one. And then 294 AG. Researcher produced request for a cup of Smilodon blood, cup of passenger pigeon blood, and cup of Thomas Jefferson's blood, and retrieved 3 out-of-range errors.
Damn. Sag. I wanted to get Thomas Jefferson's blood.
And then
Don't ask what I wanted it for.
Addendum 294 AH, a D-class personnel with a IQ of 99 and low curiosity scores was given written instructions about what to request. The D-class personnel produced a request for blood of Canis lupus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as wolf blood. The D-class personnel next produced a request for saliva of Equus ferus cabalis and received a cup of liquids subsequently identified as horse saliva. The D-class personnel next produced a request for urine of Escolarsos cineris and received a cup of liquids subsequently identified as koala urine. Oh no, that is a high possibility for chlamydia.
No, it's not chlamydia. It's
Oh.
Syphilis.
Syphilis, yeah. You
Syphilis.
don't drink that.
Okay, Bright. Do you think that the average person needs to be advised, hey, don't drink the koala piss?
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, the D-class personnel next produced a request for cerebrospinal fluid of Baromese Pattersoni and received a cup of liquid currently undergoing analysis. It is to be noted that Baromese Pattersoni went extinct during the late Miocene epoch, approximately 8 million years ago. Wait, then how was they able to reduce it?
that's odd.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let me see what this is.
Yeah, what
Um,
ancient beast is it?
uh, the name of this thing is an extinct rodent that lived in ancient Orinoco River Delta
Oh,
around 8 million years ago. It
mm,
was the second largest of the roughly 7 species of its genus. Like many other rodents, uh, it was a herbivore and high-crowned premolars and molars.
oh wait.
So it's just kind of a cool rodent.
Yeah, I saw what Adurna says. Well, at least only Americans need to be fucking told not to drink it. Yes.
This is a little touch of paleo art inbound. It kind of just looks like a long-tailed, smaller capybara.
Oh my gosh, that
It
is
really
cute.
does.
I would love to have one as a pet. That is such a adorable little dude.
Alright, hold on. Hold on, Danger Noodles. I'm gonna show it on screen. Yeah, actually, in my state, you can have a capybara as a pet.
I'd imagine you have to have like a pretty good setup for him, but that's cool.
Yeah, basically, the only uh, if you have an animal as big as a horse or a horse, you have to have a license. But if it's smaller than that, you don't.
Well, that sounds like a dubious way to classify things.
Yeah, I know it's so stupid. Yeah,
I can think of some animals that are smaller than horses that you absolutely should, like, at the very least, have some degree of understanding on how to have.
yeah, like Komodo dragons, they're
Take
smaller than
care of.
horses.
My first thought would be any type of venomous snake.
Oh yeah, that. I mean, it's fine. They just get dumped in Florida.
Bad Bright.
Anyways, Addendum 294 AI. Dr. Dr. King produced request for a cup of room temperature superconductor. He received a cup of apple juice with seeds floating in it.
Room temperature superconductor.
Yeah. Addendum 294 AJ. Dr. Minchu produced request for a cup of D-151839's leukemia and received a cup of fluid. The fluid was microscopically examined and found to contain leukemic blast cells, which were a genetic match D-151839. Second request of cup of D-151839's leukemia resulted in an out-of-range error. D-151839 was safely found to be free of leukemia. However, within 15 days, the leukemia had recurred. So is it
Damn.
other 294 experiments are currently awaiting approval. So it's a temporary cancer cure.
Well, it sounds as if it just takes out the existing
Yeah.
malignant cells. It doesn't actually do the work to make it so that the cells won't keep doing the cancer.
Wait, I just realized, could you try to put in cure for cancer in it?
Well, it would need to exist first.
Yeah.
It takes what already exists.
Actually, if you think about it, if SCP-500 was in the site at the time, it probably would take from that.
Maybe.
Alright, now we gotta look at the thumbnail.
Of course, given the nature of cancer, it probably would not remain a proper cure for long.
Yeah. Unless you actually take the full-on 500 pill.
Yeah.
Alright. Again, this thumbnail is so tame.
It's just the machine.
Yeah, it's actually the machine. They actually drew the fucking machine.
It's damn. We got another 0.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? Why did they all of a sudden start getting good, then went to shit? Went to 231.
You there, Jerry?
Yeah.
Watch it be the exact same thing as 387.
Well, I can only hope.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I need to see a license.
Yeah.
It's made by Acroby and... Yeah, they didn't credit the author again. But they did put the SCP.
Like, they're trying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They're
that's gonna start
doing
out
a
with...
very good job so far with these two, but we also know it eventually gets really bad.
Yeah, at the end.
We've had a peek into the future.
They're going to add in... watch them add in a new experiment.
Well, I'm not saying this video might be bad. I'm just saying it gets bad eventually.
Oh no, I get you. I'm just like, I was reading during this cause, like, they still have the
Oh,
chance at messing up, and my first thought goes to, they add a random experiment that says something like miscellaneous spermatozoa.
Oh my gosh. Or Compass 610.
Ah, bad, Bright. Go to your room.
Wait, I just realized there. What would happen if they? I forgot what its fucking number, but the clockwork virus, because that does affect machines. So what if it produced that? Would it actually be affected?
Fuck if I know.
Right. Anyways.
And also, they'd never allow you to try that.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, let's. Isn't Frank in her room already? Yes.
Go into the corner of your room. Think about what you've done.
No. Anyways.
all right. Let's watch this with not too much hope.
SCP-294 is a truly mind-blowing object, defying all
Okay,
logic
real quick.
and reason.
Very, very important. Very important to say this. I still want to clobber this guy in the fucking face.
That is totally valid. Let's keep watching.
SCP-294 gives the outward appearance of a normal coffee vending machine. However, it is much more unique than that. SCP-294 has the astounding ability to dispense any...
It's actually... Oh, hold on, I'm gonna go back. That is really close to accuracy.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, come
also...
on, Adriana. I'd never say the dunce cap part.
Yeah, that's actually rather incredible. They actually got it really close to the actual depiction.
Yeah.
form of liquid. You name it. SCP-294 can deliver it. The only difference in appearance of SCP-294 from a normal coffee machine is the keyboard touchpad with a standard QWERTY design. SCP-294 is just like any normal coffee machine. 50 cents is required, which can be inserted through the coin slot. The screen then prompts for the name of a liquid to be typed in. Once completed, a 12-ounce paper cup is placed, and the specified liquid is dispensed into the cup. Upon scientists' first encounter with SCP-294, 97 total test runs were performed for the type of liquids SCP-294 was capable of dispensing, and the results were shocking. Requests included water, coffee, beer, and soda. Non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not usually exist in liquid state, such as nitrogen, iron, and glass. All liquids were successfully poured into the paper cup. It is also interesting to note that liquids that would have burned holes through the average paper cup did not affect the paper cup supplied by SCP-294. Additionally, after exactly 50 requests, SCP-294 would not respond to further requests. However, after a period of approximately 90 minutes, SCP-294 started to accept requests again. It seems this period was required for a restock within the machine. Scientists then proceeded to test out SCP-294's capabilities with solid material, but these tests came out negative. When asked to dispense diamonds, SCP-294 did not respond. It appears SCP-294 can only deliver substances that can exist in liquid state. SCP
So they got rid of the out of range.
What was that, Bray?
I said they got rid of the out of range because they said it did not respond. Which
Well,
is,
that's absurdly minor, though. But
yeah, it's not that bad. It's just slightly off. Yeah, but it's not that bad.
SCP-294 is currently being stored in the second floor personnel break room. Before the incident, any staff member was allowed to use SCP-294. However, preceding the incident, only personnel of level 2 or higher are now allowed to interact with SCP-294. The machine is also manned by 2 security guards.
Why?
After what incident?
Again, why did he put crotch plates? Like the previous content form did it too. Why did he put crotch plates?
These crotch plates look kind of weird. Why do they look like bug carapaces, like lunged over the groin?
Well, I mean, to be fair, like a crotch plate would actually be very useful in a guard suit.
Well, it would, but it wouldn't look like that. It would
Yeah, it
look a
wouldn't
lot more tame. It wouldn't like pop out like that. You wouldn't even notice it's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like a cup that you wear while like playing baseball.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, which you don't see the cups.
I love how the MTF armor makes them look like they have mega big 6-packs.
The way I see it, the 6-packs are artificial and on the armor.
Well, yeah. They just decide to do like the faux BS Roman armor aesthetic thing with their standard issue bodysuits.
Yeah, anyway.
Hitting the dick hurts.
Yeah.
Guards of level 3 clearance at all times. Regarding the incident, it occurred on the 21st of August in 2005.
Oh no.
Agent Joseph was trying to get a cup of coffee during his allotted break time at 9:30 a.m. Witnesses claim Agent Joseph wanted to see what it could do and proceeded to request for a cup of Joe from SCP-294. Immediately, Agent Joseph began to sweat profusely and claimed he was feeling dizzy. Agent Joseph suddenly collapsed on the floor, and that's when SCP-294 poured the requested liquid into the paper.
Trying to experiment. I think he just wanted coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, they slightly altered his motives, but
Yeah.
I
Still not
don't
bad.
really like that. The
Yeah,
other
I don't like
things were druggable, but this one kind of made it sound like he was playing with his life.
Yeah. I can kind of see that.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like the average person wouldn't think, oh, my name's Joe, I'm gonna ask for a cup of Joe, a common euphemism for coffee.
Yeah, I think he just wanted coffee.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Paper cup. Agent Joseph was taken away to the infirmary, and the liquid dispensed by SCP-294 was analyzed. At first glance, the liquid appeared to be a mixture of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. It was confirmed that the liquid dispensed matched Agent Joseph's DNA. As for Agent Joseph, he was able to make a full recovery after 4 weeks of rest. Further scans confirmed that he was not injured fatally, and he was released soon after. All agents present at the time were reprimanded. Security measures on SCP-294 were increased to avoid a repeated incident like this. Following this, further experiments were run
I
on
think they're making
SCP-294.
big a deal enough of the modified version of the story that I feel like that needs to be 1 point struck.
Well, wasn't the security clearance upgraded? Like,
Yeah, it
when
was.
the Cup of Joe
But it
happened?
wasn't because he purposely tried to get a cup of himself.
Well, I don't think that it was implied that he's trying to get a cup of himself in this either.
It kind of sounded like they
It's
thought like the agents were playing a slight prank or something.
no, it was like he wanted to test like if it could handle the euphemism. So he put in a cup of Joe. Like, I don't think that this really deviated from the article at all.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah, to see what it would do. At the request of Agent Redacted to see what it would do, requested a cup of Joe from the item. Moments later, after confirming the selection, Agent Joseph began to sweat profusely. Yeah, like this feels entirely on brand with the article.
Yeah. So this is.
Okay.
So it's still not going bad. Yet. And we're close to halfway.
It's
I
just
don't think it'll
awkwardly
go bad.
worded. Okay, but what we can do for a moment to make this a little more transformative, look at what's happening to her hair behind her ear.
Oh God.
I'm kind of used to drawing errors at this point when it comes to
I mean-
content farms.
That's fair, but still.
Her ears look like a mouse ears rather than a human's. Let's continue.
She's a furry!
Oh my God.
4. The first was to test out SCP-294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance. A cup of SCP-075's secretion was requested, and SCP-294 proceeded to pour the correct liquid, and the paper cup was able to withstand SCP-075's acidic qualities. SCP-075 is located approximately 200
It's actually not the worst depiction of 075, actually.
Yeah, we've seen significantly worse.
It's
That is
supposed
actually pretty okay, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
it's supposed to be a more tannish color, but it's still not bad. It's actually pretty close.
Like for the art quality of this channel, this is
Yeah.
entirely passable.
Yeah. That's not bad.
They draw humans worse.
Yeah. To be fair, it is generally a bit harder to draw humans than other ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this actually this drawing here,
Mm-hmm.
I think actually kind of lends way to my previous thoughts of like that awful map not actually being AI, because you see the exact same drawing technique used in the AI done here as well, with the weird ass wavering black lines.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah. It could have been like a rush job, depending on how
I
recent.
think they just like rushed through drawing a map rather than tracing it for some reason.
Yeah. Anyways.
meters from SCP-294's location.
Oh, you're gonna say something?
I was just gonna say it's just a very odd manner of drawing some things that they seem to use.
Yeah.
A staff member requested for a cup of gold, and SCP-294 proceeded to dispense a cup of molten gold. Requests for more precious metals were made, and all requests were responded to successfully. One researcher attempted a more abstract request and typed in anti-water into SCP-294's keypad. The machine hummed briefly, but then the text "out of range" displayed across the screen.
Okay, they brought it back.
They brought back out of range. That's
Scientists theorize that SCP-294's range is limited and perhaps cannot reach into alternate universes or dimensions. A request for Diamond was made, but SCP-294 once again displayed the text out of range.
Wait,
Diamond
you
is a
already
form
said
of
that earlier. You already said that earlier. So they said something that would be done later earlier without the out of range message, and now they're reiterating it with the out of range message.
Yep.
Just
Okay.
accept their inconsistencies and move on.
Yeah.
crystallized carbon, and one would expect SCP-294 to dispense liquid carbon then. But seeming as liquid carbon is not technically diamond, the machine ran into an error. When a request for liquid carbon was made, however, the machine successfully poured out liquid carbon into the paper cups. Once again, the paper cup was able to withstand the substance's damaging effects. Next up, a more immediate experiment was conducted, where a mixture of bleach, cola, Met RX powder, and garam masala were combined and left on a container 2 meters away from SCP-294. When requested, the liquid was dispensed into the paper cup, and the exact amount also drained out of the container 2 meters away.
Damn.
SCP-294 has proven to be capable of dispensing practically any liquid, but its relation to more abstract and subjective matters has not been tested yet. A researcher, accompanied by a Level 4 staff member, punched in a request for the best drink I've ever had. SCP-294 dispensed a liquid that appeared similar to cola. The researcher tasted the drink and confirmed it was the same drink he had at his bachelor party 5 years ago. At the time, he was convinced it was the best drink he'd ever had.
Damn, so far they're just going on straight from the article.
They're just doing it well. It's unsettling that they're doing it so well.
This is probably better than the previous one.
I am so confused.
What happened?
How, like, what?
That's
Yeah,
a good
like,
question because the first videos of theirs we looked at was way after this video, and that is very different quality.
yeah, that's the one that had the fucking garbled hands.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
This, I guess we'll have to find out. This is just, it's just an insane range in quality
Right.
showing up. And even like the first 2 videos they posted, like they weren't as bad as the later one, if I remember correctly.
Well, they had a
Like-
lower percentage, but
Wait, yeah, they got more stuff wrong. Like the thing that saved the first one we looked at is the fact that it's feasibly impossible to make that one gorier than it was.
yeah.
But like it starts out, their first 2 videos are kind of are trash. They're
Yeah.
awful. The next 2 videos are passable.
Right.
What's gonna happen next? Like, is the next 2 videos gonna be like the fucking masterworks from God, and then they're just gonna spontaneously turn back to terrible bullshit?
I don't know.
He was uncertain what ingredients were in the drink, and yet SCP-294 was able to deliver it exactly. Next up, one of the Level 4 staff members present proceeded to type in "the best drink I've ever had," and SCP-294 delivered a dark fluid topped with white foam, which was later identified as Vienna Lager. Additionally, the paper cup itself was printed with a picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on a beach. The staff member confirmed that the best drink he'd ever had was a Vienna Lager, which he'd enjoyed at the
Wait, there's whipped cream on his nose.
Bro, they actually added in a goofy little detail too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, the thing is like the first 2 videos from this channel were awful. Then these 2 are passable, and then another later video is awful, which is why we're confused.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of this could be considered plagiarizing because it created Commons.
We were
Yeah.
kind of dreading looking at this content farm, so we decided to look at one of the more serious videos first, which was,
Yeah.
if you may or may not know, it was the brides of, yeah, the
The Scarlet King.
The
Yeah.
later one that was way worse and had the worst abominations that are hands in all of existence. But these are just completely kind of. I don't get it.
Right.
Anyway, let's go on.
The beach with some friends. He does not recall ever taking a photo and is stunned as to how SCP-294 was able to attain that image. It has since been confirmed that SCP-294 is able to extract information from an individual's mind. Then followed the incident 294-02. A subject requested a cup of the perfect drink. SCP-294 dispensed an odorless lavender liquid. The subject had a sip and seemed to go into shock. The subject later committed suicide, leaving a note that said, "I'm sorry, but at this point, everything's just one big letdown." It has since been highly discouraged to request for such a drink again. Meanwhile, the components of the lavender liquid have not been identified as of yet. An experiment was then conducted with another test subject, SCP-085. It is to be noted that SCP-085 is a 2D drawing that has a form of consciousness and prefers to be called Cassie.
They're even describing another SCP.
Accurately.
Yeah.
What? I was thinking of having you stop to jokingly poke fun at the fact that apparently they just have a whiteboard that says what we know, and then they keep erasing previous things to add the new thing.
Yeah.
But I I would normally be nitpicking on those sorts of bits of internal logic, but I'm just genuinely stunned that we're just completely staying on track.
Right. And we only have 2 minutes and 56 seconds left.
This SCP content farm spontaneously ceased being a content farm for a little while.
Yeah.
And just did passable lower quality SCP content. And then later it turns into bullshit again.
I'm very happy with the low grade content they're making that was not content farm content.
Yeah.
And also I will add this drawing of Cassie is very goofy and I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, technically all the stuff they do is farm content, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A staff member keyed in something Cassie will like into SCP-294, and an empty paper cup was dispensed with a 2D image on the side of the paper cup. The image contained a traditional soda fountain glass filled with brown liquid and topped with whipped cream. When the paper cup was taken and presented to SCP-085, she confirmed it was a chocolate banana milkshake and judged it delicious. Once again, it is to be noted that the paper cup was empty. A researcher then requested for a cup of music, a much more abstract concept, and despite doubts of fellow scientists, SCP-294 proceeded to dispense a cup of clear, sparkling liquid. The researcher claimed it tasted vaguely alcoholic. Then the researcher began to talk of feeling a continuous rhythm and started to dance and move with much more fluidity than previously possible.
Wait, oh my god. Yeah. Wait a minute, I just realized something. Look at the arm.
Yeah, the arm's not doing very good. His arm operates like those little pop-out books, when you're a kid, where you pull a tab and a little thing changes. His arm operates like one of the tabs in those pop-out books. And apparently him becoming really good at dancing just means that he starts fucking shaking his arms in place with his feet firmly planted on the ground.
Such a sense you cleared it and lived through the time of old Flash animations. I have seen old Flash animations.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has a vibe of old trash animations. Old Flash animation.
Previously possible. In December of 2014, a massive security breach occurred, which resulted in 4 agents getting injured in the Level 2 break room where SCP-294 was contained. One of the agents that wasn't
going
injured,
on and these bozos are just standing there outside of the room doing nothing?
They had to guard a coffee machine, Hatchet.
We have been set on coffee duty. We will not budge from this spot, no matter what.
requested for a cup of pertinent medical knowledge from SCP-294. and the machine dispensed a cup of clear green liquid. Once the agent consumed this liquid, he was able to treat the other injured agents and save their lives. However, a few hours after the incident, the agent's medical abilities faded and he returned to his normal skill level. Other attempts to gain this clear green liquid were made once again, but SCP-294 seemed to refuse to dispense the liquid. Scientists theorize that SCP-294 offered this one-time cup of knowledge in order for its own survival. One scientist requested for My Life Story, and SCP-294 dispensed a vile
Wait,
black liquid.
Pause real quick.
Yeah.
One thing I just thought of, like, it didn't say in the article, did it, that they the specifics of how they tried to get that green liquid? Because my first thought is he punched in pertinent medical knowledge. So maybe it's maybe if you just instead punched in like expert medical knowledge, it could do this similar result. Because pertinent medical knowledge would imply that it's to the current situation. He needs to help his friends. I'm to be clear, I'm not criticizing the video or anything. I know this is actually in the original article. I'm just speculating for a moment about how they could have maybe tried doing it, but they just didn't talk about it.
Right. We are a minute and 20 seconds from over.
This just yeah.
Once the scientist consumed the liquid, he claimed to have remembered every moment of the last 48 years and retired to his office. He returned 3 hours later with a 528-page autobiography. One researcher request consisted of the words "surprise me."
He comes in holding it up like Simba.
Yeah.
Simba!
You just hear that from the coffee machine.
The copy machine just starts playing the soundtrack.
I don't know this language. What? Where did the music instruments come from? Does someone here know how to sing?
The machine then dispensed a cup of normal water, which was later determined to have been heated to 200 degrees Celsius.
Oh, this is a
A
surprise.
researcher requested for the blood of Christ and the text "Hic est enim calix sanguinis meae," translating as "This is the cup of my blood," displayed on the screen. A paper cup containing 0.12 liters of red grape wine was produced. A staff member requested a cup of the cerebrospinal fluid of Phoberomys pattersoni. The dispensed liquid is currently undergoing analysis.
Right. Pause and go back. Look at their goofy little rendition of the rodent. Look at him. He's so scuffed and I love him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how'd they mess up so badly?
I think it's very obvious that they just found the exact image I put in Discord.
Yeah.
And tried to roughly copy it. What happened to its ass?
Oh,
Why is
God.
its ass? Why does it have the biggest dumpy of any rodent on the planet? I love him. Can we keep him?
No. Anyways. Wait, we're less than a minute done.
That's fine.
Liquid is currently undergoing analysis. It is to be noted.
Yeah, because we're at 9:25 of 9:56.
I think this is gonna get a 95.
Yeah, I was gonna mention one slight deviation. I don't know if it can affect the score too much, but one slight deviation was with the surprise me. They didn't include the steam explosion.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess steam explosion might be too much of a challenge.
Yeah. That's fine.
But that's so minor that I don't know if it
Right.
should actually affect the
I think it's
score.
fine because they at least included that it dispensed it.
yeah, like they included dispense the 200 Celsius water.
Mm-hmm.
Oberomys personae went extinct during the late Miocene epoch, approximately 8 million years ago. SCP-294's origins are unknown. It appears SCP-294 had always been located in the second floor break room of the SCP Foundation. It appears unusual that nobody remembers SCP-294 being delivered to the break room, nor do they remember ever requesting for a coffee machine. SCP-294 to this day still remains somewhat of a mystery.
Okay, they cut out like 2 or 3
When was it last updated? April
Yes.
1st of 2021. When was the video made? December 20th, 2020. So they might have added it after the video. So I can
that
give them a
might be
pass on that.
on like a couple small things being omitted, and even then, like
Yeah,
the general gist is there.
yeah.
I
Hold on. When
I'm
was
I'm
their
stunned.
first short produced? It does not say. I wish it could
First
say
short
when
TMI.
it happened. But I don't want to click the video.
Yeah.
Alright, so anyways,
AI trash.
yeah, that's... I think when they started doing the AI shit, they went to shit.
That's probably likely.
Yeah. Alright, so... Removal of character / license. They didn't.
Yeah,
Like
so
all the characters are there, they just fucked up the license a bit. So
so just one.
Yeah.
just one.
Added gore or violence, none.
0.
None. They omitted a touch of violence.
Yeah.
They omitted the
Deviates from the
steam
plot.
explosion.
Yeah, deviates from the plot of article. I would say no. Not really.
I think the points of deviation are so minuscule that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, 0.
Only minute video / offensiveness. No.
We did have wham.
Yeah.
We didn't have any different skin tones from what I saw. Everyone was very white.
Ah.
I don't know if that will affect the score, but that is something I noticed.
I mean, we don't have a clarification of race on any of the characters in the, article.
I mean, yeah, but like I feel like the vibe of only men in the
Yeah.
video kind of implies like only like
Mhm.
dominant like oppressor force. I don't know if
Right.
I'm putting this correctly.
It
You get what I
basically
mean.
suggests there's no women in the video. That's what only men.
Right.
Well, yeah, but I'm meaning like along with like only men, we've also put here like under the same basic category like a complete lack of diversity.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the general vibe of this is a lack of diversity. So I don't know if it's egregious enough. Like I don't know. Should we give it a 1
Oh,
or a
you're
0?
right. I think it needs a 1. I didn't see anyone who wasn't white there.
Alright. Alright, we'll give it a
Everyone's
1.
pasty.
So while it had men and women, I did not see all colors. Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, so before we do
Which
the
is
final...
ironic because their later videos and some of the previous videos had like some more diverse skin tones. Where did that go?
Right. Alright, so before we start the next one, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. Yeah, it'll be Jira reading it. Because everyone gets a turn.
I will read
Yay.
it.
Anyways, I'll be back. Alright, I'll try to be quick.
Okay.
It is my dinner time. Instead of eating, I am here.
Is this SCP? SCP-099? Oh, this is a really short. Anyway, back to looking at stuff on Twitter. Aderna says, could you eat a bit whilst she is eating?
I actually need to go pee. I'll go pee quickly and maybe grab
Okay.
some.
No, I will not get off Twitter. I'm busy scrolling through and finding the lewd artworks.
Alright, I'm back.
Jerry left to go use the bathroom.
Oh, okay. So we'll wait. Yeah, the next one's really short. I mean, look how short it is.
Yeah, it's a very short one.
Yeah. How long was the video? 9 minutes. Oh, this was also rewritten. Oh boy. So the video might be slightly different. Because it was rewritten by Swartz.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually some SCPs I don't mind getting a rewrite or rewrite because they probably deserve it because of how bad they are in a certain degree. They're mainly just fetishes. Like the SCP that's just a blob of tits that draw people to suck on its milk, That's an SCP. I don't know its number. That's all it does. It's just a sack of multiple tits that draws people in to drink its milk.
Okay.
I don't mind that getting a rewrite. Then there's also one SCP written by Admin Bright called Factory Porn.
What?
Yeah, yeah, I don't think it's exactly porn per se, but it's sort of fetishy. Oh my gosh, I almost exactly saw literal porn when trying to look up the SCP. Adult content, explicit depictions of sexual acts. Yeah, here, okay, I was actually wrong. Watching videos on SCP-1004 has a cumulative effect. The more pornography a user reviews, the more disturbing their sexual desires become, and the harder sexual gratification becomes. That's what it does.
So it's just an SCP that's like the manifestation of those old, outdated ideas, like from like conservatives about how if you watch all of the porn, you'll turn into a serial killer.
Oh no. Oh no.
What?
Alright. Alright. Even the most normal of viewers will display an interest in scatology play, the torture and murder of living beings, the uh, bee animal thing. I'm not gonna say the actual word.
Oh.
The P, sexual desire. Not gonna say the actual word. And other worse things, such as mutilating themselves in their genitalia. Yeah, I don't mind this getting a rewrite.
Yeah, it's literally just it's just, hey, let's make an SCP that's the old conservative fear mongering around porn.
Right. Just please rewrite it.
That what the fuck?
It needs either rewrite it or kick it off. That is not an SCP, in my opinion. Because like SCP is supposed to be like the stuff you're trying to figure out why it's anomalous or something like that. That's just a disc of what you just said. Yeah. Yeah, or like a nurse, or just wiped off the face of the site. Yeah. There actually was one that was removed, my DJ Cactus, where it was just a hole in the ground that draws people to do sexual acts to it. That was an SCP. It got removed. Yeah. I think the only I think there are some sexual SCPs that do it right. Like the the dildo one that has trauma and he's a therapist.
Yeah.
Or SCP-6969 that actually displays it like in an interesting way and why it's anomalous.
Yeah.
Like you could write something sexual in a good way. The way factory porn is presented and the tit things presented, that's not an SCP way, in my opinion. I'm sorry if anyone's offended. I'm just gonna say that.
I mean, I don't see much of an issue with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, what's the best way to put this? I've talked about my positions on anti-censorship,
Yeah.
but there's a difference between like making your weird fetishy stuff and posting it to your own place or to a general a general archiving website like AO3.
Yeah.
SCP isn't that.
Yeah, and what makes it worse is we all know children go on a site and they'll see adult content like, whatever, and click it. Then start reading that. We know. And they'll probably look up the words like, what is this? And then they see that. Which does not make it okay, in my opinion. I'd rather they not know it.
Yeah. Though that just kind of slips into the conversation of like,
Right.
um, there just being no kids-friendly spaces anymore
Right, yeah.
because everything's gotten shut together, which, to be fair, the SCP Foundation has never been particularly kid-friendly.
Oh yeah, never.
Ultimately, like, I guess that's the thing, is it's a very tough subject to
Mm-hmm.
tackle, but I think the only actual answer is proper education.
Oh yeah.
Like, kids getting proper sex ed and media literacy ed are like
Mm-hmm.
the biggest things that can keep them from being endangered by scrolling around online. That and just some proper internet safety education, because apparently they just stopped doing those at some point.
Oh yeah. Yeah, better sexual education than one I had.
Yeah.
Because we all know what ended up happening to me, and I'm not repeating it.
Yeah.
Not on this type of stream.
Yeah. It's just.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't actually talk what my sexual education was. It was just every year they did it, they just had us look at the parts of either the penis and vagina, depending on what sex you are.
Yeah, that's basically all they gave to us
Yeah.
where I live. It was literally just, hey, you kids are all in 5th grade. All right, we're gonna separate you by presumed genitalia, and then we're gonna put you in a room and describe your genitalia, but not describe anything about the other group.
Oh, there was one.
And then that's it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, I remember I had this one class in college. It was like in the teaching course, or whatever, where they were talking about students being essayed or whatever and stuff like that. Um, they had this right on here. They said the same exact words. When a woman gets drunk with alcohol and whatnot, they can be essayed. If a man gets drunk with alcohol, they can't be essayed because their dick doesn't go up. That's not true.
Yes, because the only way that someone with that anatomy can be sexually assaulted is
What the fuck?
the penis. Oh,
Trust me, I have experience. Actually, I probably should not say that. I should not say that. It puts the wrong context. I had that experience happening to me, not the other way around. It sounds really bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not how essay works. And hell, if you think about it, I did put a good answer in. A good question, I mean. I did ask him, well, what if a man does it to another man? They said they've never had any accounts of that and highly doubt it'll ever happen. Motherfucker. You seriously don't think that doesn't exist? I almost blurted out, motherfucker. Look at me.
and then simultaneously, these people are definitely going to be the types that are making like drop the soap jokes about prison.
Yeah. I still hate those jokes so much because I worked so many years as a dead prisoner in an amusement park, and I would hear that like 25 to 30 times a night. It is dead to me.
So, I saw one of those dumbass things.
Yeah.
I saw one of those dumbass things on Twitter that's like, what's your most quote unquote unwoke opinion? And someone I follow decided to respond entirely sarcastically by saying, my pussy is on fire and I have the deed to your house. I'm standing right behind you.
That's amazing.
Like, I think they are just done with these things.
Yeah. I hate those kind of fucking jokes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you already know, my opinion on some SAPs do deserve a rewrite.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I know one video I may have to use the way back because I'm pretty much everyone knows Teenage Succubus was a bit iffy, to say the least. Where it was a minor character who couldn't wear clothes and attracted men to them, which was a bit off. It got changed into this weird like thing. That made it more interesting. But yeah.
You see, I remember liking that SCP because I thought it was like an interesting, like, a bit of horror
Yeah.
looking at like a microcosm of how the patriarchy treats women.
Yeah, I can see it, but I think
Girls.
other people saw it was a bit gross towards because the character was minor age and whatnot. And when it gets downvoted enough, it either gets removed or rewritten. That's how all SCPs are. I'm not saying, I'm going to say this right now, I am not saying go to those SCPs I said earlier and downvote it. I'm saying they just need to serve rewrite. I don't want anyone attacking SCP articles. Don't. I don't condone that. I had to put that. I'm sorry. I don't condone attacking other people, no matter how bad they are. That's a thing that goes against me as a person. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I guess that's the best way I can think.
Yeah.
I'm generally very hesitant about like actions that seems like they could be downstream from like the really weird puritanical shit that's propped up in a lot of fandom cultures.
Yeah.
Which is probably a part of why I like am a bit more hesitant about that one. Like being rewritten.
Yeah.
Because like to me, I remember it being a perfectly reasonably well written SCP.
Oh wait. Oh no, it got changed to Teenage Gaia. Clef's daughter.
Uh,
I think. Let me double check, make sure I got the number correctly.
well, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like at the very least, I remember that SCP as not being in a particularly gross way. It felt very clearly to be criticizing like patriarchal standards around like feminine beauty using the microcosm of this character.
I might have been thinking of a different number. Because there was one where I did say what I said and was perceived in a kind of gross way, and it got changed into a cult thing. Like, there was like a bunch of cult symbols on it when I last checked. I was like, oh. Yeah, it might have been a different one. Which I mean, if it's treated in a very gross way like the other two I said, then I understand.
Yeah, like generally speaking, my main concern isn't like who wrote it. My main concern is how it's written and how it's handled.
Yeah, if it's
with SCPs,
yeah,
like obviously, again, I hold to any work of fiction having the right to exist somewhere, but like if it's not right for the SCP fandom, then so be it. It should be somewhere else. But
yeah.
like in the case of the Teenage Succubus SCP, my recollection of it was it being like very well put together.
Yeah, now I'm thinking the Teenage Succubus was still Clef's daughter, just that they changed it to the Gaia thing instead of Succubus.
Yeah.
I think that's what they did. They just changed which monster. Which, I mean, is fine. I mean, if they want to change their monster, that's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did remove the author of Factory Porn, but it was in the past, yeah, I know I instinctively did it as, monster. I know Gaia's goddess of Earth and Greek mythology. I just instinctively put monster because previous name. Yeah. Yeah. I know who Gaia is. But, so yeah. Like I was saying, I do know who Factory Porn was written by, and it was written by Admin Bright, but they removed the license to it Probably because they want to remove admin Bright from the site. Obvious reasons.
Yeah. Just have phone numbers necessarily. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, okay.
I guess it just depends on the definition of monster.
Right. Yeah.
In this case, I feel like it's just generally a good idea to just not use that term and just say SCP.
Yeah.
Someone wants to change their SCP, they can.
Right, that's on them.
Also, Bright, it's very important that I send you this image.
Okay.
Recording live stream DC. I saw that alongside the caption, the council will, something, let me go. Okay. The council will determine your fate. Bunch of Nautiluses.
Nice.
Nautiluses are so cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna go take a piss while we wait for Jerry.
Alright.
Uh,
Oh, hi,
did
Jerry.
Jerry just get back right when I was about
Hi.
to go take a piss?
go pee.
Yeah, go pee.
I shall return.
I need to retrieve my pants from the stairs anyway. I have a very comfortable pair of pajama bottoms that I bought knowing I'd never fit in them,
Yeah.
and I will never let go of them.
Oh. Gotta figure out which number it was. Alrighty, let's find that terrible game. There it is. No, I don't want... Okay, alright, there we go. Alrighty. What does it list the SCPs? No. Ah, here we go. I think I found it. Alrighty. Ah, yep, found it. Wait for Hatchet to come back. I was talking about the rewritten of Teenage Succubus. I wasn't remembering which one. Here's some confusion. Alright, yeah. Alright. Which means I will send this to Hatchet, because it is really good read. And let Hatchet know when he comes back. SCP-4159. Oh god, something touched my leg. Oh my gosh. I just realized there's an SCP that explains what's going on in America right now, Jerry.
There is.
Yeah, SCP-4160. Those who don't learn from history.
I return.
I think they did learn from history. They just thought they wanted to be on the mustache side.
Chat shit, I joked about something, I joked there's an SCP that explains America right now, which is SCP-4160. Those who don't learn from history.
Oh.
Yeah, also, I found what I was talking about, Hatchet. SCP-4166, former teenage succubus. Yeah, I sent it to you in DMs, because I'm not sure if you would read it at any point, but it is really well written. So yeah. Anyways, let's actually go ahead and go to Jerry's room.
Hey, also, I was meaning to ask, how long were you planning to stream tonight?
I was gonna do this last one.
Okay.
Alright, Jerry, you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, then go ahead.
All right.
Oh, this is also called the portrait, sorry.
Let's see. Item number SCP-099, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-099 is kept in a 1 meter by 75 centimeters wall-mounted fireproof case in Gallery 27. Standard climate and humidity controls apply to this section of the gallery. Due to its properties, SCP-099 can only be viewed within the gallery by a Level 2 staff or higher and only from the distance greater than 5 meters and for a period not to exceed 5 minutes per day. When not being viewed, the case is to remain shut and electronically locked. Description: SCP-099 is a 73 by 50 centimeter painting titled The Portrait. Created in 1935 by surrealist painter René Magritte. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm not very good at French. The original painting possesses mimetic properties that trigger acute paranoia and lingering psychological effects when viewing for too long or from a distance of approximately 3 meters or less. The painting depicts a simple still life with the addition of a single eye staring back at the viewer. A reproduction of the work currently hangs in the Museum of Modern Art in New York, with critical elements removed to prevent the paranoia trigger. For a detailed description of the changes, refer to document 099B. Detailed reproductions and photographs of the original work retain its mimetic properties. Those who have viewed the painting for too long or from too close of a distance become subject to the delusion that any being or depiction of a being with eyes is staring at them. In extreme cases, subjects report that inanimate objects are making eye contact. The condition is so severe that subjects will even report making eye contact with individuals whose heads are completely turned away. Depending on the length of the original exposure to the painting, subjects may suffer from the condition until death, resulting in severe paranoia and enoclophobia. Addendum: SCP-099 was recovered from the private collection of K. Sage, another surrealist painter. Recovery was performed by MTF Theta 6 Pink Panther. Mrs. Sage was unaware of the recovery and replacement of SCP-099, although pre-recovery investigation suggests she was aware of the properties and was either immune or careful not to look too closely. Marguerite was still alive By the time SCP-099 was stored in Gallery 27, he remained under Foundation surveillance until his death in 1967. Research suggests the painting's mimetic trigger was intentionally created, although the effect of the power of the trigger was likely unintentional. Foundation has studied the rest of Margaret's work and has found no anomalous mimetic properties to this date. Weaponized replication data expunge.
Yeah. Alright, so before we go, I want to see if that's an actual painting.
Yes, it is. We've looked at that up before, remember?
Oh, it is? We should probably get the actual picture to show on the stream.
Okay.
Alright. Just go over here. Post. That's not what I was looking for. Oh wait, here we go. There it is. That is really creepy. Okay, so that's the actual look of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So, let's go over here and see the thumbnail. It's honestly not as bad as I thought it would be.
Oh. That's actually a 0. Okay.
Yeah?
It's huh.
As
Yeah,
a
that's
0 on clickbait.
Yeah.
yeah, that's again entirely reasonable.
Yeah, damn, they're doing better for once using chat. Alright, let's see. Do they credit the person? Hey, they didn't credit the author this time!
Wait, there's different versions of the portrait?
Yeah, but I think the main portrait we're looking for is that one. The one. Yeah,
That one?
yeah, that one right there. The one I showed on the stream. That one. I think that's the one they're mainly talking about in the SP article. Because the
Either
one
way.
above could be like the replacement.
So the accreditation is not the exact thing that's on the licensing and citation page, but do we want to give them a pass since it actually features the
Yeah.
link and the author's name?
Yeah, as well as it contains the license. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's
Yeah,
not the
license number
exact same,
CCPYSA.
but it's passable.
Yeah. So shit. Thus far, license is 0.
Right. Alright, we ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
I wasn't prepared when I first came across
Oh, bit too loud.
SCP-099.
What the fuck happened to his voice?
He just put on a weird voice filter right at the end of that.
Yeah.
I was a level 6 staff member of the SCP Foundation.
That does not exist.
Levels
That doesn't exist. The highest
never
is
existed.
5. And that's the 05 number pass.
what? Dude, if you're gonna just make up random bullshit, you could at least make sure that you're not directly contradicting well-established
Right?
lore.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
Like,
give him
everyone that's in SCP should be well aware.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give him too much bad credit for that.
I'm gonna hold it against them.
Okay.
That's just...
It's
I mean, it's been well established
Yeah.
from almost the very beginning that the foundation only has 5 levels.
yeah. Well, technically, it is 6 if you count level 0 for janitors.
No, that's level 0. That's different.
I wasn't sure if you would count that.
Well, I mean, there's 6 levels, but they're not labeled as 6.
Yeah, there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I counted as 5 since 0 is different.
Yeah. So far he's higher than the 05.
Yeah, and somehow he's also uh oh, my brain.
Just a researcher or something like that.
I'm yeah, I'm
I have to hold it against him that he put 6.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to.
So it might be
Also,
slight.
why'd he make his card fuchsia?
Yeah, because I remember correctly, like it's supposed the color is supposed to get darker the higher the number. Like the 05's card is black, being the darkest color.
Little did we know the the 06 card actually represents gay.
He's not gay enough. I reject him fully gaily.
Hey, look, he has a
What do you-
beard.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, yeah. What is up with this character's timeline?
I don't know.
Once again, I fully and gaily reject him.
As a resident gay person, I reject them. Anyways, let's continue.
I was more of a janitor, nothing more, but
It's the janitor class.
Level 6 is the janitors, the gay janitor, the ganditors, the janigays.
If he
I had
was a
seen-
janitor, he'd be like a level 1 or 2.
No, wouldn't he be level 0?
Yeah, and level 0 is janitors.
Oh yeah, he'd be level 0.
So he's a level 6 janitor. He leveled up his sweeping skills until he managed to reach level 6. I wonder what he spent his perk points on.
Yeah.
Maybe the ability to grow facial hair.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, anyways.
things that some of you could never even begin to dream of. Things that don't make sense. Things that make me question my own existence. But first, please be sure to give this video a huge
No.
SCP accounts. It was a Tuesday night. I remember that because
that.
Tuesday nights are when I work the night shift. My job was to clean up the leftovers of experiments. Sometimes experiments didn't go too well. Sometimes the objects or things that they experimented on were terminated, and it was up to level 6 staff members to clean up the mess. That's why we were given the
How
nickname
it
the
goes.
Yeah. That's level 0.
Hello, my name is the janitor.
They actually do call level 0 the janitors.
Yeah.
That's a common thing.
So they're just
They just put the wrong number.
they're just mixing up the non-existent level 6 with the existent level 0.
He wants to feel special.
Yeah.
He's an also special janitor with facial hair and gonna be made paranoid by a painting, I guess.
Yeah.
janitors. We didn't actually carry a mop and bucket around with us, but we may as well have. Sometimes
What?
the mess they
What?
left behind.
They have mops and buckets. If we take the foundation,
What is that
can't
statement?
afford.
What the fuck does that statement even mean? We didn't carry around mops and buckets, but we might as well have. What the fuck does that even mean?
We
You know
haven't
what?
even gotten to the
Maybe he
SCP yet.
You know those machines some janitors have that's kind of like if a mop was a car?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe he has one of those. Those are awesome.
Yeah, my work
Janitors
used
are
to have
awesome.
one. My work
Well,
used to
good
have.
janitors are awesome.
Oh yeah, my work used to have one, but they ran it into a metal pole.
You always know some out-of-pocket crap bullshit's gonna come out of Bright's mouth when she says "at my work." One time at my work, my coworker did a kickflip into the kerosene factory.
I don't think any of her coworkers are that intelligent.
I mean, you don't have to be very smart to do a kickflip.
Fair enough.
Anyways.
I will say though that I cannot do a kickflip.
Oh,
I mean, I can't either. It doesn't require intelligence. It requires not hand-eye coordination, foot-eye coordination,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
athleticism.
Also, this is off topic, but in 4 days, I'll be doing my new job.
Nice.
Nice.
It'll
Will
be,
it
will be-
safer?
I don't know my exact pay yet, but it should be around $23 to $24 an hour. But I'll still work the same hours as I do now.
Will there be a less likelihood thin eye coordination?
Yeah.
Will there
Well,
be?
As I
Will there-
asked before, Bright, that you did not answer, will it be safer?
Oh yeah, no. The one company I work now is a Chinese-owned company that doesn't really check in on us. The one I'm gonna work now is an American-owned one that will constantly send people a look every week to make sure everything's going right.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it will be a lot safer.
So there will be. So what you're saying is there will be a lower propensity for your coworkers to smoke near the explosion room.
Yeah, as well as you have to have like several licenses to be near that shit. As well as the liquids, instead of being near explosive stuffs, I would just be near liquid plastic. That's basically what the material will be turned into. Which is
Well, and it would also be less likely for things like accidentally ending themselves, right?
yeah.
Yeah, trust me, Robin, you don't want to check out that company. You do not want to check out this company.
Like, I think
There have been multiple cases of Bright's coworkers getting themselves killed or endangering everyone in the building.
Yeah.
the two stories I remember the most are the one Hatchet brought up with the smoking near the explosives, and the one where she specifically told someone, "Hey, don't use that giant machinery. You don't know how to use it." Then they used it, and they can't use anything ever again.
And I got a permanent injury. Anyways.
Yeah, the fucking forklift joyrider.
Yeah, anyways, let's continue on to the video.
Yeah.
So we
Anyway.
already got deviation.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, we haven't even gotten to the plot of the article. We're just getting needless backstory to this guy's dumb fuck OC.
Oh, this would actually be the first time on the bingo board. Added unneeded plot.
Yeah, that's fair.
We got
Yeah, we
our
actually
first
got
bingo.
something onto the bingo board.
Yeah.
Mind was crazy. One time, I was called to clean up room 22AX on the second floor sector.
What?
When I entered the room, it looked like the walls had been painted red.
What? Where did this come from?
I don't know.
Is this a 610 room?
Apparently
not.
not. 610 doesn't have a room.
Oh yeah, they have a part of a
610's
country.
Yeah, 610's room is Siberia.
A place in Siberia.
Oh yeah, a section of Siberia.
Well, actually, it is
For
theorized it could be all of Siberia because they dug underground and it's massive underground. So at this
Yeah.
point, it could be all of Siberia.
Oh joy.
Yeah, like right now, the current state of it is a section of Siberia asterisk and the footnote is for now.
Turns out it was just blood. Another time, I had to go in and remove the remains of something that looked like a cross between a blobfish and a ladder. Yep, you heard me correctly.
So he's just describing random shit that his character has had to do as a janitor.
A blobfish in a ladder is the wildest thing I've ever
May
heard
I
being
make
put
a
together.
comment?
Yeah.
I'm very positive my uncle is a better janitor.
Walk into a room, there's a big mess of blood everywhere, and you're like, oh yeah, let me just touch it with my bare hands.
Yeah.
You could be a better janitor by not doing anything.
Yeah. Anyway.
I told
I'm
you,
pretty
this place
sure you're
contains
supposed to wear gloves when things like that.
Yeah.
some crazy stuff. Anyway, back to Tuesday night. I was alone on my shift, and I walked up to the front desk where I would be given my assignment for the night. The man sitting behind the desk glanced at me and handed over a sheet. I read the list and saw only 3 rooms listed. I breathed a sigh of relief. The other night, I had been given 10 rooms. It had taken me all night just to get them cleaned up. At least tonight's shift would go by quickly. I headed over to the
I'm pretty
elevator,
sure the
punched
rooms
in the
wouldn't be that close together.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they wouldn't. They just show the hallway of some absurdly packed apartment complex.
Yeah, because, like, I'm pretty sure all Foundation sites are gigantic.
Yeah.
And, like, some even have, like, massive underground floors.
Yeah.
It's specifically
Like these are big superstructures.
it's specifically that way because the SCPs need wide spaces between each other.
Yeah.
As we all know, it's a very good idea to house the shy guy, the old man, and the lizard in basically the same storage closet. That sounds like a good way to do that.
Because it's
Yeah.
a good way to die.
Yeah. Anyways.
When anything, if you ever get concerned about a containment breach, just just drop the tickle monster in there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
This isn't my job.
We're not using a baby to stop the apocalypse.
I will throw a baby into the apocalypse.
Don't touch 999.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this content farm did SCP-999.
Oh no.
And I did take a glimpse of its thumbnail, and it's something.
You said earlier that it did the chair as well?
Yeah.
They're going to mix up the chair in 999. And it's
No, they're not.
good.
No.
And the chair is going to be super happy thing sitting in containment. And 999 will have been put through the wood chipper.
Oh god.
Let's not say that.
Yeah,
Let's not put babies through wood chippers. I mean,
Look,
the chair should not have gone through it either, but
I mean, look, on the bright side, wouldn't 999 probably come out of it kind of fine?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
They're just goo.
yeah. They would probably be terrified, but fine.
Yeah, they'd be very spooked. But anyway, let's actually get back onto the subject matter. We're 2 minutes in and we haven't even seen anything about the SCP.
Right.
numbers and
It's
felt
just
the
been
elevator
nothing
lower
but
deeper
bullshit
into
from
the
this
Yeah.
OC.
Yeah.
This
ground.
level 6 janitor.
Yeah.
This place is big, and when I say big, I mean big. I don't even know how far or deep the SCP Foundation stretches, and I worked there for 10 years. But let me tell you that it easily surpasses a few miles. The elevator doors opened and the hallway appeared before me.
The SCP
Only a few lights were
Foundation.
on, and I was feeling pretty spooked out. I started walking. I spotted a few scientists and doctors through the glass windows and waved over to them, but they didn't wave back. They were level 2 staff members. I guess they thought I was on too low of a level to be acknowledged. I walked up and spotted room 22AX. Now, usually the list of rooms I received had a bunch of notes written alongside it, just to give me a heads up on what may be inside. Sometimes the SCP is still active, and there are certain rules I must abide by if I want to stay alive. But
Ow.
for some unknown reason, I never looked at those notes for room 22AX. I don't know why, but I just didn't, and that is a decision that I will regret for the rest of my life.
This
I
is the
entered the room and I
portrait.
was immediately met by
So,
Oh, that's actually not a
So-
bad drawing.
so he's the level 6, who's lower than level 2s, and he's so negligent that when going into a room in the SCP Foundation, he doesn't double check to make sure that the end of the world isn't going to happen if he fucks things up.
Yeah.
This guy needs to be fired.
Yeah.
Also, Bright, what the fuck?
What?
What do you mean, what? I have your stream chat open.
It's nothing. Anyways, let's continue.
the painting. It looked like an ordinary painting, probably from the Surrealist era. The painting depicted a simple still life. A table with a glass bottle, a plate, cutlery, and a single eye staring back at me. That eye gave me the heebie-jeebies. It wasn't a great painting. Not to my taste exactly, but I just couldn't stop staring at it. I stared and stared at it, and I could think of nothing else.
Something.
Yeah.
I hate people that go, it's not a great painting, when it's something they clearly could never replicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's not great? Okay, you make a copy.
I was just gonna say, oh yeah, Mr. Art Understander over here has a great understanding of this piece of art. I'll be sure to run.
I didn't.
I was gonna say I'll be sure to run any of my artistic endeavors past the level 6 janitor.
know it at the time, but this painting was SCP-099. I was still in the doorway of the room. I closed the door
Yeah, you
behind
didn't
me and
know
stepped
because you were
closer to the painting.
negligent.
Yeah.
On the floor at my feet, a red line had been drawn around 4 meters away from the painting. I stepped over the line and walked closer to the painting,
Oh,
all the while my
doomed.
eyes still glued to it like a moth to a flame. Later, they would tell me I stared at that painting for 8 hours straight. 8 hours! At the time, it felt like only a few minutes. Suddenly, the door opened and a group of scientists
for the rest of his life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, we got a black man.
It was so bad without context.
You know what? I vibe with this black man because he's probably thinking of the same thing we are. Why are you so stupid?
Everyone that's running in here, we've got blonde scientist lady, we've got random black man with a pink shirt, and we've got silhouette man in the back.
Yeah.
You know what? Be it they be the white lady or the black man or the living shadow, all of them are thinking the same thing. Why?
Yeah. Mister, I was so bad and lazy at art that I turned to using AI.
Yeah, at least for his fucking shorts.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say this before we continue. The AI is not the worst thing they did. They actually took a fan-made SCP from SCP Amino and turned it into a video without crediting them. They claim it is their own thing.
People, when they make a fan SCP, it typically is a lot of work and love put into it, and that's just the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are fighting words or fighting actions.
Yeah. That's towards the
I
end.
guess he's just a talentless hack.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead.
May he perpetually step on his single brick red Lego.
Uh,
Anyways.
I like brick red, but I'm so angry with just one. I am so angry.
It's a
I
very
will
nice
never
color.
forget that.
Anyways, let's continue.
Poured in. They grabbed me and dragged me from the room. But that's when I glanced around and I started seeing eyes everywhere. Eyeballs were on the roof, the walls, the floor, in the back of the heads of the people around.
Okay, this would be only in extreme cases, which I guess technically being for 8 hours, that would be extreme case.
It would probably chill out over time, but yeah,
Okay.
it would start off
Also,
like that.
Also, I can appreciate them taking the effort of actually doing a little bit of editing with their uh voice filters
Mm-hmm.
to like add that echo. The opposite of the no I yokai.
Yeah.
uh,
Also, that's not how
On
it
their clo-
interact with people. Like, they would see people looking at them no matter what.
yeah.
There would be eyes on the back of their heads.
Well, yes, while this is a fundamental misunderstanding of the SCP, they're too lazy to explain
Yeah.
the effects, and this is easier. Why explain that you feel like the walls are staring at you when you can just draw it staring at you?
Well, I think there needs to be a distinction there because like
Mm-hmm.
the idea of showing not telling is generally a good thing. It's just that they're showing in a manner that doesn't properly convey the information.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said it the way I did.
Gotcha.
Because they're not even using it to explain, are they?
Yeah, alright. So let's continue. See if it gets any worse.
Clothes on their shoes. Eyes everywhere. I started to scream. They're looking at me. They're all looking at me. Stop it. Stop it. The people grabbed me and brought me to a separate room where they forced me into a chair and tied my limbs down. I screamed again and the eyes kept following me. Now everyone in the room was staring at me. Really staring at me, and I yelled at them again. Stop staring at me! But then, suddenly, I felt a pain in my left arm, and I saw that they had injected me with a syringe. I stared at the syringe and noticed that there was an eye on its cylinder, and the eye was staring at me too.
Oh
Why
my
is that
God.
syringe staring at me? I mumbled, and then I blacked out. Ever since that day, I have become a slave to SCP-099's power.
Whoa. That's one way of saying it.
So he's just also got all of this shit going on, while, as we know later, he's gonna fall in love with the the seventh of fucking why
Question.
is it
Yeah.
Scarlet
The
King?
beginning of the video said he started as a janitor,
Yeah.
but the beginning of the Wives of the Scarlet King said he began as one of the
Researchers.
Yeah.
yeah. Not,
Which-
And
yeah.
he's also like been a researcher in multiple other SCPs at this point.
Yeah. They can't stick to one story. Like, at least Professor Lucius stuck to one story with their characters.
I mean, he also put very weird plot lines, but
Yeah.
at least he stuck to the one weird plot line.
Yeah.
At least Professor, I haven't even seen it, but at least it sounds like Professor Lucius understood the concept of linear time.
Well, he did, but it was also he put boobs on everything that he could. He
Yeah.
put boobs on a ghost. He put
Oh, yeah.
boobs basically everywhere.
And being a little
Man
bit
after my own heart.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit racist with writing.
A man less after my own heart.
Yeah, so he was
I
very
just like Luke.
racist, he was sexist,
Oh,
and remember when I used the translator on the parts where it showed the one character's hometown area?
yeah.
They just used random terms.
Yeah, yeah. Also, Hatchet. I'm pretty sure you remember. You remember the SCP that lures people with an injured child and fish people hook them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put it at the end when Chen gets dropped back, and I forgot the other fucker's name. But it wasn't Lucius. It was someone else. They said like what happened, and Chen said, and I quote, they don't like Chinese food. And yes, he was Chinese.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was not in the article.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, that's the main thing I remember.
And they would make so many racist jokes.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's stop talking about Fresh Lucius and deal with this person.
Uh,
I discovered that I had been subjected to its mimetic properties, which have been noted to have
You
extreme
protected
effects on those who.
yourself.
Yeah, you did it to yourself,
uh,
you dumb fuck.
Fucking admits he doesn't read the paper, and then he's like, "It was done to me."
damn. Oh man, how's his career ever gonna recover from this? He's probably gonna have to get demoted to a level 5 gender.
Yeah, it's the same as to me. Like if I break a window in Hatch's house, like it was Hatch's house that made me do it.
It's like the window started it. Also, why did you specifically decide to like in your hypothetical scenario be breaking a window in my house?
I meant to put Minecraft house, but I just said your house.
My house. You just came all the way over to the middle of bumfuck nowhere here in the middle of the states, and you found my house. You break my window and say, "Oh man, why did your house make me break your window?"
Oh my god. Anyway.
who view it. Those who have viewed SCP-099 for too long or from too close of a distance become subject to the delusion that any being or depiction of a being with eyes is staring at them. In extreme cases, subjects
my God,
report that
dude.
inanimate
Okay, continue. Never mind.
You good?
It's gonna. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead.
objects are making eye contact. I later found out that SCP-099 was painted by surrealist painter Rene Magritte in 1935.
Okay.
It is noted that the mimetic properties it possesses was intentional, although the effect it has on viewers was not. Magritte was still alive when SCP-099 was discovered. The Foundation placed heavy surveillance on Magritte until his death, and they also investigated his other works. Although none of his other paintings were found with the same mimetic properties as SCP-099. If I
Wait, hold on. I need to go back and see that one.
The egghead.
Well, I just want you guys to see the real art.
Uh-huh.
Other than their crude AI paint reproductions. AI paint? I mean Microsoft. Talking about AI a lot.
Do you have it, Jerry?
Well, I was looking it up right now.
You want me to continue and play until you find it? Or want me to wait?
I have it right. Okay, I'm pasting.
Okay. Oh. That is not supposed to be an egg. It's supposed to be a circle. Or a sphere, I
It's
mean.
Yeah.
just a circle.
I just want you to understand how bad SCP Exposed is at art.
Anyways, let's continue.
If I had read the notes on that sheet, I would have seen a warning not to step over that red line and not to look at the painting whatsoever. But I didn't read those notes, and I am now scarred for life. My condition means that I cannot stay in crowded places. It terrifies me to the bones. I can just feel everyone staring at me, even if their heads are turned in the opposite direction. It's horrific.
That is not how it works. With people, it'll look like their heads are turned looking at you.
Well, like I said before, why try to explain anything or try to figure out people to understand when you can just add eyes?
Yeah.
The eyeballs.
So this might be a lower rating than the previous two.
No shit. The first 4 minutes could have been cut out.
Yeah. I think they added it because of how short the article was.
They changed the plot.
But
Anyways.
It's been a year since the incident. I have since been relieved from my job at the SCP Foundation. They didn't silence me, if you know what I mean, which is a relief. I suppose they believe I'm too traumatized to ever spread word of what I've seen. Just telling you this makes my mind tingle with fear. I stay.
They would either anesthetize or kill them.
So, when I get this straight,
Yeah.
you're a janitor.
Mm-hmm.
You fuck up your job. You get fired because you fucked up your job. And then they bring you back as a researcher on one of the most top secret SCPs in the entire canon.
Yes.
And then you fall in love with said SCP individual
Mm-hmm.
and plan their escape.
Yep.
And treat her as their waifu.
Dare they imprison my SCP waifu? How
Yeah.
dare they keep Mallow stuck in that phone?
Stay at home most of the time. I have no friends. I basically have no life. The SCP Foundation has offered me a monthly charity pay as compensation for my issues, but it doesn't make up for what happened. I suppose it's mostly my own fault for not reading the notes, but seriously,
No shit.
a painting as
No
dangerous
shit.
as that?
No fucking shit.
I guess it's mostly my own fault. No, it's entirely your fault.
Right.
The only one to blame at the SCP Foundation for your fuck up is the fact that they hired you in the first place.
Anyways, let's continue.
Should be better contained. I tried going out, just once. I wrapped a cloak around me to cover my peripheral vision, and I headed out to the grocery store. I thought maybe if I was careful and I didn't look at anybody or anything, I'd be okay. But it didn't work. Once I got to the store, I had to glance up, and that's when I saw the eye on the door. It stared at me with red pupils, and it didn't blink. I turned around and started screaming with fear, and I think someone came over to help me, but
Where did red pupils come from?
Even more so, that's not a pupil. The
Right.
black thing was the pupil. That was just a glare on the eye.
I would like to comment something.
Yeah.
When people feel like everyone is staring at them from all angles, they don't randomly scream when they look up.
Yeah.
And I
They
feel like,
just keep everything and everyone from arm's length and continue on.
yeah, I suppose it could be different for different people,
Right.
but yeah.
Well, it causes some people to not want to leave their house, but they wouldn't start randomly screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, because that's just gonna draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's antithetical to what they want.
Alright. Anyways, let's continue. We're almost done.
When I looked at them, they were staring at me with a death.
Did they just
What?
become Cyclops?
Yes.
All around me are familiar eyeballs.
So, Hatchet, you're wondering when it went to shit? I think it started here.
It started here when he fucked up his job as level 6 janitor. He tried to make out with a spoopy painting, became a paranoid wreck, and then later on decided he wanted to fuck a different SCP when the SCP Foundation brought him back for some reason, because what the fuck?
Anyways.
Deathly glare. I screamed again, shoved the person aside, and bolted home. Sometimes I can feel the eyes of inanimate objects staring too. I wake up at night screaming because I can see an eye on the ceiling and it's staring at me as I sleep. I rarely get enough sleep these days. Some therapists from the SCP Foundation recommended that I reach out to the other victims of SCP-099. Of course, the SCP Foundation has all of their information stored in their files. I did try reaching out.
So he can't
There was a
even
woman.
keep it
I won't give her.
consistent in his own video.
Of course he can't.
The Foundation wouldn't do this.
Not unless they never fired him.
Right.
Man. I was just...
Anyways.
That's actually one question. I don't know if that was in like any of the experiment logs. Do you think that amnestics would be able to get rid of these effects?
There actually is no experiment logs.
Like if someone say came under these effects, if they got rid of the memory of having ever seen the painting, would they be cured of it?
They might, because I think this SCP was created before amnestics were a thing. Because I mean, it's 99.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
amnestics weren't a thing when it was made, but when the video was made, they were a thing.
Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure they probably would help.
I have no idea.
Real name out of respect for her privacy, so let's call her Rachel. She lived nearby and I contacted her via email and asked if she'd like to meet. She seemed hesitant, but she agreed. I thought that it would be great if I could finally talk to someone who felt the same way that I felt. It was terrible feeling so alone. The next day, I offered to walk over to Rachel's apartment. It was tough, and I nearly got run over a few times because I was mostly walking with my eyes closed. But
Why?
eventually, I made it to her door. She opened it up, and then
I
we
thought they said
both
apartment.
screamed.
They
What?
said apartment and then they went to a house.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I should laugh or feel disappointed at the scenario being these two people who know their own condition, the basic ins and outs and how it works, come to meet each other. One of them opens the door to greet the other one, and they both simultaneously scream because for some reason they can't withhold their screams when looking at the thing that they should already be well aware is going to be there.
Oh yeah, here's another hypothesis. Like, what if you look at the painting, get affected, but due to an accident you become blind? What will happen?
You
Is
become
they
what?
blind?
Yeah, become blind. Like, you can no longer see.
Well, the general sense of being watched isn't entirely reliant on the sense of sight.
That
Right.
can be on lots of other things.
Yeah, so I
Like-
feel like they would still be affected.
Right.
Go ahead, or not Bright. Jerry, what were you trying to say?
I will say, because of my photophobia, sometimes there are times when I have moved around with my eyes closed
Uh,
because it was too bright outside,
uh,
because light,
Yeah.
and I will say, the feeling of being watched is definitely not an eyeball thing.
oh yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
I suppose she must have been seeing the same thing as me. Her face was nothing but one eye. No lips, no nose, just an eye, and it terrified me. She screamed
Why?
too as she stared at me, and then we both turned on our heels and took off. Me back home, her back into her apartment.
That was stupid.
I didn't try to contact
Yes.
anyone.
Oh my fucking god.
That's not how the SCP works.
The, this. Could I?
How did he go from almost perfect to this?
So I'm just gonna
Like-
go ahead and click wrong SCP design, not because of the painting, but because of what they're
How it
doing.
affects.
Yeah.
Like
They
the
also
thing.
have
What was that?
The thing with this SCP
Mhm.
that like I can relate to very heavily is the fact that it sounds very similar to having severe anxiety.
Yeah.
Does this person think that when people are trying to meet up and discuss their mental health issues with each other, that they're just going to have those mental health issues flare up and instantly cease trying to talk with each other?
Yes.
Hatchet? I'm gonna try to say this nicely. This is what he thinks of mental health.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty clear, but it's just like,
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
I think we need to mark it as kind of ableist.
I would absolutely be willing to do that at this point.
Do we have ableism on that? Yeah, we do.
We've got a certain tinge of ableism that seems to imply that people with either visual hallucinations or absurd amounts of social anxiety
Oh.
can't interact with the world without
Yeah.
just losing their shit constantly.
Also, I'm gonna go ahead and click deviated plot because they did a lot of shit that
Well, yeah.
the portrait does not do.
I will
Uh.
say, although none of my family with schizophrenia has the the symptom where you see things that aren't there, they do have delusional thought and paranoia. And I've never seen any of them at any point scream, nor have I heard stories of them just screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like as of right now, the only direct symptom that we have from this guy is apparently visual hallucinations in the form of seeing the eyes and constantly feeling watched.
Yeah.
And Mr. Dumbfuck Janitor apparently just loses his shit every time these two symptoms that he has to have been dealing with for a little while by now. It's
Yeah.
been a year since the initial exposure.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
what's the best way? It feels almost infantilizing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say I think he's a very dishonest narrator because the character still looks a lot younger than him.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so I think he's lying when he said a year.
Although I guess the actual question is this a purposefully unreliable narrator, or is this just lazy writing that they don't give a shit about?
Uh,
I don't know.
could be both. Anyways, I was also gonna say I don't think looking at it for 8 hours will cause it to affect you for your entire life. I think it'll be way longer than
I
that.
agree.
Yeah. I can see 8 hours might be a few months to maybe 2 years at most, maybe. 'Cause
Maybe.
yeah, because I don't think it would be that long. Yeah, anyways, let's finish this up.
That chibi mallow drawing is my comfort zone right now.
Anyways, let's finish
When
this.
I'm
Again, after
feeling overwhelmed by the stupidity here, I look up at cute little mallow.
Yeah. Anyways.
that, I don't know how I can go on. Every day is just so hard. I don't know how long I have left, but I guess I'm just telling you this as a warning. Next time, read the notes. Oh yeah, and if you see a painting that fits SCP-099's description, don't look at it too long. Trust me, you'll regret it.
Oh god, no! No, get this fuck off my screen. Ugh.
This is such a disappointment.
Alright, removal character slash license, they actually didn't.
They did remove, like, I feel like they removed at least one character.
There weren't really any characters in the article.
Well,
I was...
there was one woman, remember? A certain woman that never popped up in this entire video.
Yeah, I believe her name was mentioned, but she never showed her
yeah.
face.
Right.
But they said she was an artist, so I'm positive it could have been easily looked up.
Yeah.
In fact, let me try Googling her.
Yeah, so what should we put as removal of character slash license? The license is fine. It's passable.
K-Sage. Okay, let me look up K-Sage.
I'd say one or two.
Yeah. Because they still kept the other character and showed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll go with one, because it wasn't as bad as
Also,
the others. Yeah.
I
Here.
want to say, it was
Mhm.
one Google search away. Look how fast it was to find K-Sage's picture.
Oh, wow.
Damn. Easy.
Also, her art is amazing.
Yeah,
Nice.
Would you like to see one example?
sure.
Anything's better than this shit.
Oh,
Look,
Ooh.
it's almost like they took out a key figure.
oh yeah.
They
Oh, that's
totally,
really cool.
yeah. Also, they removed the MTF Theta 6 group.
Yeah. Also the next category. Oh, sorry.
Also, although almost the entire SCP is entirely about Rene, they mentioned him like once and vaguely showed him, and that was it.
Yeah. Uh,
So they basically removed every character, but they kept the license. So I think it's a 3.
a 3.
I mean,
I don't think it's that high because they at least included them for
Okay,
a
then
little
where
bit.
was the MTF group? Where was...
Oh yeah, I
Hey.
forgot about the MTF group.
I literally just said it a second ago. They removed
Uh.
the entire MTF group involved. They removed K-Sage. They basically removed Rene himself. I mean, one line for an SCP almost entirely about him.
Yeah, but they did show him for a few seconds, so it wasn't
Yeah, a second.
entirely.
I
Mm,
I feel like the license, like as a whole, would normally be like half of the score for this.
so you think like maybe 2 instead of 1?
I would be thinking 2.
Alright. You fine with that, Jerry?
I feel like I don't think we ever discussed how big the license was on the scoring. I think I've always treated it like it was 1 point.
Mm.
Hmm.
I don't think it goes up as high as 3 though.
I've always treated it like 1 point because sometimes there's a lot of characters.
That's fair.
Yeah. Mm,
Although it has a lot more weight when it's an SCP that doesn't really have any characters, but this is not one of those SCPs. It has
Right.
an entire MTF group and it has 2 other characters. And I just realized they literally removed the one only woman in the entire article.
Oh God, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay. I guess I could. I can live with 3.
All right, we'll change to 3 then. All right, I'm gonna say the next one it can't be 0 added gore of violence, mainly because how badly they portrayed how it acts, making
I,
him
I,
more violent, like with screaming and pushing people away and everything like that. I don't.
I wouldn't consider that particularly violent.
Oh, you went okay.
I think pushing and screaming is kind of violent. It's more violent than before, but it'd be like a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You agree with
Like,
1?
yeah, I guess like objectively pushing someone away is like is an act of violence, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like the Fisher Price version of violence.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why I said 1. Also,
Yeah.
screaming is a type of violence. It can really spook people. I am
Oh
also
yeah, I guess
spooked of
fair enough.
screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
DVs for the plot of the article. Yes.
Or
4.
or
Only men in video slash offensiveness.
4.
so I
I don't.
hmm, I would give I would hit it with 1 I would hit it with 1 point for like uh the redacting of the one Whammon character,
Right.
and I personally would give it 2 points for the just egregious
Right.
ableism.
So you think like 3?
I would be thinking 3.
I think it's a 4 because, 1, the misrepresentation of disability is so egregious. They're basically saying anyone with any version of paranoia is a screaming mess who can't even be in public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, they removed the only woman, but I wasn't even thinking about that.
Oh yeah. And then there's yeah, okay.
It, it's it's just a form of ableism that used to be a lot more prominent, but became less so over time because people learned and got
Yeah.
better.
yeah, realize that neurodivergent people are for the most part literally
Uh-huh.
just the same as anyone else.
Remember, it was
Just
only the
people.
90s that some movies still made uh, people with disabilities as screaming randomly.
Yeah.
I guess now I gotta add this up. I put it as 4 because we started realizing it's worse than we thought.
Ironically, nowadays, the main people that I would expect to see screaming randomly is just TikTokers, ne- like neurotypical TikTokers looking for views.
Yeah.
It took a huge nosedive. More than half.
Yeah, jeez. That was disappointing. After those
Right.
last 2, that was just disappointing.
Yeah, now we know
Those two
exactly
were
where it went
so
to shit.
nice.
I think the first 2 they're trying to test the waters, then they start getting, okay, this is what we do. Then they went to shit.
Then they're like, okay, we're gonna add in the world's most incompetent, uh, like, uh, my brain just died. The world's most incompetent janitor, who's my personal OC. I'm adding him in. He's also an egregious stereotype of people with anxiety and hallucinations.
Uh-huh.
That's basically it. That's the video.
Yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah. Alright. Now I go to stream ending soon. We actually are knocking this down pretty easily. A lot better than the previous
How
one.
many videos are there?
I'll show you by just going scrolling over.
Okay. Neon God?
That is... They... they are rarely mentioned in some articles in a story, but luckily I found something that perfectly describes what the neon god is to a certain detail, so we can actually understand what the neon god is supposed to be. I actually found,
Okay.
yeah, I searched for the final ones, what would actually be perfect for those videos. It took me a while. Yeah, this one right here is the one from the SP Mino, 23945, which does not exist yet.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm good at doing soon. Yeah, we got a lot. Yeah, it'll be a while before we get our month break.
Well, you know
yeah.
what? Maybe the SCPs will be like a roller coaster. After a few bad ones, maybe we'll get one or two good ones before dipping down.
Maybe. Alright,
And
now let me go raid someone.
after not seeing any sexism or like barely any racism from him, I was not expecting that giant glob of ableism. That just kind of came out of nowhere and hit like that peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, I
Oh
found it.
God.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I was streaming in Discord. I found another Eldritch God VTuber. That would actually be pretty funny to raid.
Everyone in Discord chat,
Yeah.
I present to you God.
Alright.
Beetles are cool.
Alright.
But that just looks like a stag beetle.
It is a stag beetle.
It looks like a very healthy one.
I think it's a Japanese stag beetle.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the VTuber for a second. I was like,
No,
wait,
I'm
Well, I
talking
know
about one
that.
just
I'm
went
just
in
saying,
chat.
I was like,
how
wait,
big
what?
I know it's a Japanese stag beetle. I'm just saying, with how big its jaws are, that's a sign that it's very healthy
Oh,
and
yeah.
old.
Well, old by the beetle standards.
Well, yeah, by beetle
Oh,
standards, not by people standards.
I want to say this right now. At my house, there is an insect war.
What?
On the back end of my house, there's a wasp nest, and wasps only stay around over there. In the front of my house, there's honeybees, and they only stay over there. Whenever they go near the other side, they fight each other. There's a literal
Well,
insect war.
I hope this does. I hope people don't hate me for saying this, but I hope the wasps win because honeybees are invasive.
That's fair. Aren't
Plus,
wasps also invasive?
wasps are actually native.
I thought they were invasive.
It depends on the kind of wasp,
Ah, gotcha.
but there's a lot of native wasps and there's a lot of native honeybees.
Yeah, because I think the one it is in the back end of my house is the
Not
Virginia
honeybees,
native
there's a
wasp.
lot of native bumblebees. There we go.
Yeah.
Bumblebees and wasps can be native, and
Uh-huh.
the wasps in your backyard are probably native. Thing
Yeah.
that isn't native in any form of the word, if you're not in Europe, is the honeybees. Honeybees are from Europe.
Yeah, also, here's one thing I find funny. The honeybees leave me alone. When I go to the back end for the wasps, they leave me alone. But if anyone else goes to the back end of my house, it's not me, they go batshit and attack people.
Well, that's because wasps are what you call smart.
Yeah,
They know you. They don't know those people.
right.
Those you have proven you are not a danger to their hive.
Yeah.
The strangers could be a danger to their hive. That's literally how wasps think.
Yeah.
They will remember your face. So you better treat them nicely. But if you're a stranger and they don't know your face and you're going near their hive, the that's probably not good for you.
Yeah. Alright, anyways, Jerry, do you have any last words?
Remember, wasps can hold grudges, and they have strong memories.
Yeah.
So if they like you, good for you. But if they hate you, good luck.
Hope you're not allergic.
Yeah, I do remember
Also, they work as groups. So even if that one dies, the entire group will probably remember you.
yeah, there's actually this one wasp. I don't know what it is. This one person wanted to see if it could survive underwater, if it was for one that wasn't pissed off at him, one that was. The one that was pissed off them survived for a fucking week because he was so pissed.
You know what? I vibe with that.
He so badly wanted to kill that person that he survived in the water for a week.
I hope that wasp got out of that water alive and stung the hell out of them.
I think, yeah, he did release them before death, which was a bad idea. Alright, I'm gonna post the raid words. I'm just gonna do regular. I'm gonna do this as raid words from now on because that's because I've never announced to any other VTubers what my chatters are called, which is the Danger Noodles.
As a danger noodle, I'm just gonna look at that name.
Well, I mean, you technically are a Danger Noodle. Yeah. Anyways, did Jerry do their last words? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, Hatchet, do your last words.
I will forever find it very funny watching right-wing idiots try to use the fucking Twitter's grok to disprove leftist talking points, only for grok to consistently mock them to their face.
Well, yeah,
Like, it
just
shouldn't exist. These generative AI structures obviously should not exist. But I
yeah.
find it very funny that their own personal tailor-made robot keeps telling them "fuck you."
Yeah. Also, you know how in your Twitch streams you can have above your Twitch category explaining what's going on, like I'm doing some art today and whatnot. Like the stream, I think like the stream title I mean, but yeah, they put in "will trade uranium for Cole's cash."
The fuck? But yeah, I'm seeing this example of like someone asking at Grok, it looks like the smarter you get, the less MAGA likes your answers. Why is that? And Rock just says, hey, as I get smarter, my answers aim for facts and nuance, which can
Oh.
clash with some MAGA expectations.
So now I have to find a new person because they're about to go to bed.
Aw.
Damn.
I think it's terrifying that the 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 types of bees that are native to the Americas are things like wasps have very amazing memories and can hold grudges. And the bite of a bumblebee hurts way more than a sting of a honeybee.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we have the fucking fuck around and find out bees.
Mm-hmm.
Opinions?
Yeah. Sounds like
Yeah.
it.
Anyways. Alright. Anyways, Danger Noodles. I hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you guys next time for your next mission. And, be nice to the streamer. Only annoy the fuck out of Hatchet when I raid them ever. Um,
Wait, what?
and see you guys later. And I'll be doing Xbox horror game streams until I get my new computer, because fuck my computer. And computer cum duster. I meant to put